invasion from his train. After just 2 weeks, the Nazis take Hitler's next target for invasion, Yugoslavia and the Balkan Peninsula. As in Poland, Hitler commands this invasion from his train. After just 2 weeks, the Nazis take Yugoslavia. And the Führer celebrates his 52nd birthday by meeting troops and dignitaries outside his train in Austria. It's a show of power that proves Hitler's command of Europe's railways. Tony Pollard is exploring remnants of Hitler's special train that can still be found today in Neuenmarkt, Germany.
I can't wait to have a look around here. Oh, look at this.
This is what's left of the salon dining carriage that escaped destruction during the war.
The whole thing is very elegant, and Hitler's obviously putting across this image as the modern, cultivated European leader. It's kind of strange to think that this is a space that Hitler occupied. This train allows Hitler to project power. Everything that Hitler required on the move in this part fortress, part hotel on wheels was supplied. It's quite an incredible thing, really. It's almost a weapon.
Hitler's special train is made up of 17 wagons. 2 locomotives drive the train. An armoured anti-aircraft flak wagon, equipped with 2 4-barrel cannons, leads the way. Then, after a baggage car, there's Hitler's personal salon wagon. Behind that is the command car with a map room. Then a carriage for his security escort, which leads into the dining car. Following that are 8 more carriages, and bringing up the rear, another flak wagon for added protection. Historian James Holland is in Bochum, Germany, to explore another surviving carriage of Hitler's train.
You know, I know we all know what the swastika looks like. We've all seen this symbol many, many times, but when you see it for real like that, in the flesh, it's still pretty shocking. There's a lot of detail here. There's a lot of thought has been put into this.
This carriage is part of living quarters for Hitler's personnel.
I mean, of course, one of the advantages of being in a train is that these locomotives can pull a large numbers of carriages, so he can keep lots of people about him. He can have all the protection he needs. He can keep his lackeys at arm's reach. And it's a very good way of getting around the Reich. You know, it's dangerous flying. It's less dangerous being in a train. And it is really comfortable.
And Hitler isn't the only member of the Nazi elite who's crisscrossing the continent on a train.
There's actually a fleet of trains for the head of the army, for different Nazis like Goering and Goebbels. Everyone wants one, because the Führer has one, they want one too.
Hermann Goering is particularly obsessed by trains.
At his country estate north of Berlin, called Karenhall, he built himself an enormous model toy train set.
Goering owns 2 model railways covering 400 square meters and uses them to entertain guests. In Koblenz, Germany, is the personal carriage of Hitler's Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels.
Look at this. This is very plush. Lovely veneer on the doors. God, it's amazing. And look at this room.
This carriage was carefully renovated after the war, and many of the features are original.
Oh, what's in here? Goodness. Okay, so this is a bathtub, but you can't stretch out because it's not wide enough, so they've gone down in depth. I'm getting rather horrible pictures of a naked Goebbels sitting on that step there, dousing himself.
Specially designed for Goebbels, the carriage costs over 300,000 Reichsmark, twice the cost of a regular carriage.
This is the main room. Have a look at this. This is just incredible. This is how the leading players in the Third Reich moved around by train, and frankly, they did it in some style.
By mid-1941, the Balkans are under Nazi control. Hitler's railway empire expands to over 89,000 miles of track. Now, the Führer demands more trains than ever before to carry the Reich's military might to the front lines.
The problem for Hitler is there's just simply not enough locomotives to move this war material all around.
Before the war, the Reichsbahn has around 25,000 locomotives, producing around 600 engines a year. But as the war progresses, Hitler wants to increase production to 7,500 new engines every year. Locomotive manufacturers face a massive challenge. Richard Paul Wagner is one of the most respected railway engineers in history. At the beginning of the war, Wagner prototyped several versions of a new steam engine. But by 1941, it's ready for mass production. It becomes known as the Kriegslok, or war locomotive.
There she is. It's just fabulous. There's something incredibly intoxicating, I think, about big bits of engineering. And the steam locomotive just sums that up, doesn't it?
The secret of the Kriegslok's success lies in its simplicity.
What makes these Kriegsloks so unique and so special is the standardization of their parts. And that's why, during the war, they were able to produce such huge numbers.
At the peak of production, Hitler's factories are grinding out almost 350 Kriegsloks per month. Every part of the engine is made to be mass-produced.
The more interchangeable parts are, the easier it is to make more of something. And this is something that the Germans never really understand, except curiously in this one area of their war production, which is the Kriegslok, the steam locomotive that powers the Third Reich.
This powerful steam engine is just what Hitler needs. Designed with 10 drive wheels rather than the 6 favored across Europe, the Nazis claimed the Kriegslok can haul 40% more freight than most other existing engines.
So much of the German war machine moved and operated and existed because of the Reichsbahn, because of locomotives like this.
Equipped with an expanding fleet of powerful engines, the Nazis' railway is about to face its biggest test yet. The 22nd of June, 1941. Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union, begins. As the Nazis push further into Russia, the supply line soon grinds to a halt. The problem is simple. Russian trains run on tracks that are 5 feet apart. German and most European tracks are slightly narrower, at 4 feet 8 inches.
Once they run out of German continental track, they've got to take everything off and put them onto a Soviet train instead that they've just captured. The alternative to that is to change all the tracks, which they do start doing. But just think about the colossal resources needed just to do that. It's just mind-boggling.
The German army engineers rise to the challenge. In the first 5 months of the invasion, they refit an incredible 9,300 miles of track to German standard gauge.
We are working as hard as we can to keep supplies flowing.
Kleinman is under serious pressure to make the logistics of invasion work.
We have not enough fuel at the front line. The Reichsbahn is endangering the war effort.
We are working as hard as we can to keep all lines open, Herr Reichsmarschall.
Fix it. I do not want to be making another complaint.
Heil Hitler!
August 1941. As Hitler shuttles between Berlin and his bunker in eastern Poland, the Wolf's Lair, he receives regular reports on troop movements from the Russian front line.
Are these up to date?
As of 1700.
We must stop at the next station. Make the necessary security arrangements.
Mein Führer.
Estland, Lettland.
The Führer's security team know that
force, supports to be there all the time, manages to stay alive for so long. Space for me, though, is a real big difference maker. I think towards the end of the Overwatch League, you could make a case he was the best off-tank in the league. I think he's going to be a big advantage for Team USA in the World Cup.
So a lot of people, Matt, have very high expectations for this US team, and it will be interesting to see if they can live up to the hype and maybe make it past the quarterfinals this year.
It's time to get into the matchup. It'll be Canada facing off against Australia. Joe Meister used his Valkyrie. Here's going to be a Dragon Blade coming in from Agilities. That's going to be 2. Hunts down 1 more. That'll be Atar. Make it 4. But you better believe that Canada are not done yet. We're going to map 5. Could be GG if he's able to get something with it. And I'm pretty sure he's going to have the magnitude comes in. Gunba, Australia, your Crocodile Dundee. It's a hell of a comeback there from Team Canada. It's going to be Sweden facing off against Canada. Maybe if you don't go in there. Oh, that hurts. That's like the worst spot you could have gotten there. What up? Oh, Sweden. Oh, magnitude kick it off. Thanks Jaguar for that one, but it's so true. Canada, they put the flag in the ground. Tremendous performance as Canada, they'll find themselves in the gold medal match. It's time for the grand finals between South Korea and Canada. And as soon as Sherford dies, that is it. South Korea are your 2017 Overwatch World Cup champions. Can we give a round of applause to the runner-up, their silver medalist, Canada? What a final.
Another team that comes into the World Cup this year with high expectations is Team Canada. They had a fantastic run last year, finishing in 2nd place after losing to South Korea in the final.
They got 4 returning players from last year, though, but I think the one I'm most excited to see is Note. Obviously, featured on the Boston Uprising lineup, he was an incredibly consistent off-tank throughout the entirety of the year.
Yeah, and just like Team USA, I think the tanks are definitely the strength of this team. Their main tank is one of the most well-known players in the Overwatch scene, and that's XQC. He won the World Cup MVP last year at BlizzCon. He's a huge fan favorite, but he hasn't played in a LAN event in 6 months. Be interesting to see how he deals with being back on the stage. I think he's going to be just fine. This guy thrives off of the environment of the LAN scene, the fans. I think he's going to do great.
I mean, 4 players are returning as well. We saw how they worked with him last year. He slots in quite easily. Overwatch fans out there, especially Overwatch League fans, are probably familiar with the offensive duo of Agilities and Sherford, respectively. But it's the DPS play that I'm most looking forward to in Mangachu now. We saw him last year in the roster. He actually really dragged his team through some very difficult games. I again will mention the game against Australia, just busting out Pharah on Oasis especially, just popping off entirely. He was pretty much hedged into Hanzo and Pharah last year. We've seen him now have to play a lot more roles on his contenders team, XL2, so I expect to see big things from him.
Yeah, I mean, last year he was forced into playing off-tank for a lot of Team Canada's matches as well, so it'll be good to see Mangachu actually play his actual role now. And Canada will face off against USA in the last match of the group on Sunday, so mark your calendars because you don't want to miss that one.
So Canada and the US are obviously pretty heavy favourites in the main storyline for this group, but do you feel like there are any dark horses here?
I feel like it could be Brazil. 4 returning players from last year's team. 5 of their 7 players play together in contenders in South America and have looked very strong at times. I think you have that type of teamwork and that synergy from contenders, and if you can take a lot of that roster and bring it into the World Cup, I think you do have a slight advantage.
Worth noting that 5 out of 7 of these guys were pretty much undefeated in contenders, not even dropping a map, so they're definitely the most dominant team from that region. I think one of the players to definitely look out for, though, is Liko. This guy's been around for ages. You can look back to 2016. He was voted best in Brazil back then. He's your very, aggressive, flanking DPS player now.
Brazil was unable to advance out of the group stages last year, so we'll see if they can improve on their results from 2017. The other 3 teams in this group are Norway, Austria, and Switzerland. What do fans need to know about these teams?
I mean, for Norway and Austria, there's some good talent returning from last year's World Cup. Decod, obviously, as the tank player in Norway, is a pretty well-known name in general, competing in contenders. His Hammond play of recently has been really impressive. He's been bringing that wrecking ball to bear. Wat7, representing from Austria, has been a contenders player in the past. They didn't win a single map last year, so they're definitely hoping for a little bit more. Granted, that was a very tough group for them to play through. Both these players are tanks, Wat7 and Decod, and so you should expect them to be key players for their respective teams.
The most interesting thing for Switzerland, for me, is that they didn't qualify for last year's tournament, and they barely snuck into this year's. They had the 2nd lowest SR of any qualifying team, so it'll be fun to see if they can pull off a major upset.
All right, Matt, well, it's time. The moment everyone's been waiting for, I'm sure, hey Reddit, to reveal our predictions For this group stage, there's probably no real surprise that we both picked the US and Canada to advance. But the real spicy one, the real interesting question is, which team of these two do you think is actually going to be better?
I'm going to go with Team USA. I think it's very close. I like the Raucous Moth support combination for Team USA. I'm a really big fan of Space. I think he's a big difference maker. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to turn in all weekend and join us again next week for the Bangkok group, aka the Group of Death. We'll see you then. Bye.
Resistance fighters operate in the area, and there have already been more than a dozen attempts on Hitler's life.
Everything secured? Dismissed.
The lengths which the Nazis go to for him to travel safely by train are pretty unbelievable. Firstly, they picket the whole route. Everywhere he's going to go, the train is cleared, make sure there's no bombs. Then they send a dummy train down about half an hour before his train is meant to arrive to make sure that there's no bombs and obstacles on the track.
Are all your checks completed?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
But protecting the Führer isn't just about his train when it's on the move. In 1941, Hitler has headquarters all across Europe. The main HQs are in Berlin, the Felsen-Nest in the west, the Eagle's Nest in the mountains, and the Wolf's Lair in the east. But Hitler doesn't have an HQ in southern Poland. So he makes his special train his stationary HQ and builds a facility to protect it. Historian James Holland has come to what remains of Anlage Süd, or the facilities in the south.
Look at that, a massive slab of Nazi concrete surrounding a tunnel that's cut into the hill. Oh yes, these are the double panel armored doors and they're absolutely original. And weigh an absolute ton. Whoa, the weight of that is unbelievable. This tunnel is 465 meters long. It's 6.5 meters high and 9 meters wide. It's like so many of these German tunnels. It's a vast engineering project. It really is. Actually, where I'm standing now would have been a raised platform, and then along the other side is where the railway tracks would have been.
South Korea, but we have made our way back here to the home of the Overwatch League, the Blizzard Arena here in Burbank, California. I go by the name of Malik Forte, and I'm going to be tag teaming hosting duties with the one and only Puckett.
How you guys doing tonight? We no good? I guess it's this morning, bright and early here for some esports.
Oh yeah, bright and early. So guys, as you can imagine, we got tons of action planned for today, and lots of formidable contenders here to make their way to BlizzCon. So let's talk about the teams right off the bat. We got Team USA, the home team. Can I get a USA chant, please?
Well, USA.
USA. USA. We're not biased at all.
No, not at all.
We also have Austria, Brazil, Team Canada, our silver medalists from last year.
A lot of Canada fans here.
Right. Norway and Switzerland, all in this group. So lots of formidable teams, indeed.
Absolutely, and we got to show you guys the schedule because you are going to see all 6 teams today. It all opens up with Austria taking on Team Canada. Canada fans, you still here with us? All right. A little bit later, it is Norway versus Switzerland, Canada versus Brazil, Austria versus USA, Norway versus Brazil. And Malik, tonight, we close it out with something really special.
Yeah, we're actually going to be closing out tonight with the Contender North American Finals. Yes.
Some people pumped for that one. Fusion University, XL2.
XL2, yeah. And there's a couple of players who are actually playing in this group stage that will be a part of that match. So stick around after the World Cup matches. You're not going to want to miss that at all.
And of course, we want you guys to play along with us. Let us know on social media, who are you cheering for today? If you can't make it out to the Blizzard Arena, show us the love online using the hashtag OWWC2018 with your favorite team.
Right. All right. You know what, man? I think I'm ready to get the teams out here. How you feeling, Puck?
You guys feeling good about this? You ready to meet the teams?
All right. Well, without any further ado, let's introduce our first team. Everybody, welcome to the stage, Team Austria. All right, Team Austria's in the building. These guys had a bit of a rough year last year. They were in the same group as South Korea last year at the Poland qualifier. So they're going to be looking for some redemption this time around.
Looking for some maps this time around.
Oh, yeah,
Third time is the charm. It's their 3rd World Cup. But unfortunately, their very first matchup, it's against the silver medalist from 2017. Show some love for Team Canada. Awesome stuff. The silver medalists are on the stage. All smiles from Team Canada. Are you guys ready to get this started?
I'm ready.
Let's get this one going. Blizzard Arena, make some noise. Match number 1 kicks off right now. It's Uber and Mr. X on the mic.
Oh, yeah. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena, and it is so good to be back, man. We've had a bit of a break after our disappointing showing, of course, during the All-Stars weekend, and now we get on to probably my favorite part of the year. World Cup action. We're kicking it off, of course. We've already seen the Incheon group stage. Now it's time for LA to shine.
Yeah, we've seen this Austrian team in the past. Back in Poland last year, we had the opportunity to cast them. Same with Canada. Canada was there in Poland last year. I know both teams mixed their rosters up a little bit coming into this World Cup.
Yeah, but I think as the year's gone on, we've only seen more talent unearthed from Canada, especially just because we've seen a little bit more of them in the Overwatch League. And also in Europe, we're seeing the scenes chugging along and developing and speaking to a lot of the Austrian players as well. They're definitely expecting to do some damage here in LA. Talking to them, they said there's a good chance that, we might not break through in the top 2. That's okay for us. They're here for the experience, and also, of course, for them, it's going to be a lot of fun to get out on that stage. I can't wait to see them hit the...
They're just trying not to have the performance they had last year. You heard Puckett kind of reference it. They were not great last year.
They were kidding around a bit.
Yeah. I mean, they played Widowmaker on every single map last year, regardless of whether it was good or bad. It wasn't even meta at the time, but this year, they've told us they're going to come in with a little bit of a different strategy. Not going to run Widowmaker all the time.
Or a strategy, perhaps.
Or probably a strategy this time around, and see if they can give some of the better teams in the group a good go.
Here you go, of course. This is your Team Austria. Obviously, a couple of players we're seeing returning this year. Wat7, of course, as we mentioned in the previous show, which was shot, you know, a few weeks ago. Sensoric is also back in this lineup. Uber Bingo moving from main support to coach this year around it. He says he's quite happy with that particular change. We have seen some more of this talent unearthed in Austria.
Still having nightmares, Uber Bingo, about falling off the map. Kings Row is asked us, do you guys have the footage? Here's Team Canada. XQC at the main tank. I think a lot of people excited to see him play. Good to see him back here in the Blizzard Arena, getting back on the stage. But I know this Canada team from last year a little bit different, right? I know you have Bonnie now coming in at main support. Node will be playing that off tank. And you have Mangachu in the lineup who can play so many different heroes as well.
Again, and Crimzo, a talent who's emerged in the contenders scene in a big way. And yeah, Node, of course, who was unknown before Boston Uprising hit the stage, and everyone said, you know, who is this collection of players? And then we realized that, as we said in the previous show, that this has emerged as one of the top flex tank talents in the Overwatch League. Here's your map pool, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be kicking off with Nepal first, which, of course, as you know, is a control map. And if you're wondering about how control maps work, how they're played out, we've got a bit of a teaser for you to help you hit the ground running.
This is Control. Two teams fight head-to-head for control of a common objective located in the middle of the map. To capture the objective, your team must stand within its range for a set amount of time. Capture percentage is continually given to whichever team is in control. The enemy will fight to clear your team off and capture the objective for themselves. Losing control will pause your progress. Now your opponent gains capture percentage. If both teams are on the objective when one of them reaches 99% capture, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until one of the teams is cleared off. The round ends when either team achieves 100% capture. Each round is played on one of the map's 3 unique areas. Control is best of 3. So whichever team captures 2 objectives wins.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, let's kick it up here in LA for our first map of this group stage. And Nepal is where it all begins. Sanctum, to be exact.
I think you're going to see a lot of different strategies this weekend. Obviously, a lot of triple tank, triple support compositions. I think that'll be pretty, dominant amongst a lot of different teams. I think you're going to see a decent amount of Doomfist this weekend. I think personally Sombra right now is almost a must-pick, near must-pick territory, and the fact that you have that permanent stealth now, you can be a real great scout for your team. You gain so much information. Now, let's say that they don't wander away from their Zenyatta a little bit. If they're playing Zen as one of their supports, you get an easy hack, an easy kill. I think Sombra is going to be in almost every game we have this weekend.
Well, Matt, in the past, scouting so safely, with an invisible Sombra just wasn't an option. You actually didn't have a lot of great ways to get information without obviously incurring a cost. So now teamfights can be much more deliberate in terms of the setup. We'll see how that manifests here. We're going to be coming straight into it. They're rolling out with the Austrian team. They do have that Sombra. Mr. Dragonlol, Hero Ray. Keep your eyes on those two as the DPS duo from the team from the Jewel in the East. Wat7, of course, will be the initiator. He's the main caller.
It's great to see how different these two compositions are. You're going to run Lucio Moira, so a ton of good AoE healing for Austria. With the Sombra Tracer, you can run Diamond like a Sombra Tracer to Sombra Genji, either one of those combinations.
See, Wat7 has to brave, getting through Junkrat and Orisa, but so far so good. It's a trade. They actually take down Mangachu, and you'd be happy with that if it wasn't just brought back to life immediately by Bunny. And now Canada start to really exert some force over on the point. Minimi and Eclipse falling so quickly in concert meant that Mr. Dragonlol had no real defense or healing available to him. And a very quick fight as Canada switch into gear.
And I think Mangachu being in the lineup makes it even harder for Austria to kind of have a grasp of what Canada's going to play. He plays so many different heroes at a high level. I think Junkrat, Pharah, you can play Torbjorn, like weird off picks like that where you don't expect them. He can play them at a very high level. Surefour on the Widowmaker has Infrasight, so this will kind of negate a lot of the stuff that Sombra wants to do.
Well, the fact that Hero Ray just triggered his Poison Mine is huge for Canada. Getting an early scout on the location of the enemy Sombra, who would otherwise be invisible, is great to give you a bit of peace of mind setting up for this fight. Now the team's doing a bit of a do-si-do around the point. Minimi falling first, so you've lost your Lucio. Really not a way you want to start the fight. And an easy pick off of Mangachu here. 1 by 1 now, Austria. They've definitely fallen apart after losing that Lucio.
It'll be a win there on that fight for Canada. So they'll push up even further. You see Mangachu just trying to get the pick onto the Sombra here. So we only have 1 kill coming in from Austria thus far. That one comes from Wat7. good amount of the damage from Canada coming from Surefour. Almost 40% of the team damage here on Widowmaker. You would think with the Tracer and the Sombra, you'd be able to pressure this Widowmaker out, right?
That was the most pressure we've seen applied to Surefour so far in this round, and that was because he was extended quite deeply. So Canada have to be feeling confident. You know, their DPS players feeling like there's not a lot of pressure on them, except for perhaps now. Again, Mangachu's the first pick of this fight, but immediately Benny, same as the earlier fight, brings him back to life. Surefour has a safe position here. Hero just walks straight into that shot, and now, again, another day at the shooting range, perhaps from Mr. Roberts. Sensotix has done a lot of work here, getting note out of his mech. And on the point, what Seven and Sensotix have set up, Surefour eventually is run down at an 84%. Austria finally ticked back.
You probably could have held on to this Primal Rage, though, as Wat7 uses it towards the end. Maybe he thinks the spawners are coming in from Canada a little bit closer, but you know, they're way far away. There's no chance of Canada trying to retake it. So you lose that Primal Rage where you don't have it to be able to stall or juggle the point.
Dragging along. Oh, good waiting out of the defense matrix to go for the pulse bomb, but he snuck into the most durable target on the side of Canada. XQC just used Fortify, managed to shrug off most of that damage. Mangachu's Riptide doesn't quite go the distance here, but Mini-Me and Mr. Dragonball are both down once again. Hero A has a lot of work to do, but burst damage is not something Sombra's great for. And now with the healing, Canada can push forward, the Transcendence helping them, bolstering them forward onto the fight. And this could be trouble now for Austria, Matt. Ultimate economy, not stellar. Sound barrier, obviously using that final, not available.
You'll have Coalescence and you'll probably have a Primal Rage here, but you'd rather have like an EMP or even that sound barrier back. Canada's got nothing right now, but even if they lose this fight, they give so much time with only 36% on the clock to Austria.
Hero A put himself in a position where he could quite easily be spy checked by a lot of the damage that's being thrown. He gets picked up immediately. Eclipse and Mini-Me, I mean, second and third to fall in that fight. They must keep their supports alive, but Austria not able to protect their backline whilst being unable to pressure Canada's. That's going to be the first round. Pretty comfortable here. And the North has definitely arrived. XQC just wowing.
And you also, you lose a lot of the value from the Sombra towards the end of those rounds, as we'll take a look. That's a nice shot there from Surefour. Another headshot comes on through, but you know, when you have that Sombra towards the end, with the changes that come through to Sombra, you know, she has that infinite stealth, but she can't contest the point anymore while being stealth. So you're not really getting a ton of value, because what you want from your Sombra is to be in stealth as much as possible, have that translocator out, not get forced out time and time again. Towards the end there, you have to be out of stealth to contest the point. So here it is from Austria. They're going to run triple tank, triple support, see how Canada responds.
Oh, yes. This old chestnut, Austria did mention that this would be a composition that they would be going for. It's the Goats. Canada actually has Mangachu on Wrecking Ball here, which is going to be a lot of fun. Perhaps he thinks twice about that. Might go back to spawn to make the switch. Could have been the debate, or could have been they've scouted something here. Care of Surefour on the Sombra.
I was going to say, no, going back to the spawn to switch, you'll either play Doomfist or Pharah here, as Surefour has a very good idea of what they're running, because, well, he can see everybody. They can't see him. As he backs up a little bit, doesn't want to get detected there, so now we'll see Mangachu on the Doomfist.
All right, charging there with the rocket punch. Doesn't quite find that insta-kill, but still able to get out pretty safely here. Mangachu not being pressured down all that heavily, and Eclipse the first pick off of the fight. It was better to find it, in fact. Mangachu is down, of course. Doomfist off on the blunt object here, and all he had to do was open up the fight. It seems like that's happened now. Surefour very close already to an EMP, Matt. That's going to be devastating to this heavy tank and healing composition of Austria.
And XQC doing a nice job, though, Mitch, just staying alive and not putting a lot of strain on the supports, not taking a ton of damage. You'll be able to get this EMP off if you want. As Surefour translocates in, not able to do anything with it.
Yeah, interesting. Perhaps for a moment there, he was going for a late EMP in the fight, but he ended up translocating in with about 7 health, so perhaps he just wanted to die on the point and be done with it. And when we see this composition, Matt, there is a reason why Goats is such a go-to. Very durable, and Canada theoretically have a comp to break it. They have the Bionade, they have EMP, they have Mangachu getting 1 hits, but so far not so great for them. Okay, there's no, now it's a combat for Austria.
Really nice combo there. The self-destruct gets launched in, the EMP comes through. The Reinhardt obviously not able to protect anybody with that shield.
Oh,
you may not have to use any more ult here as Mangachu picks up 3.
Shock and awe tactics from Canada. And they mentioned that, you know, obviously they'd looked at a lot of compositions to, you know, break this very robust approach that Austria are trying to bring here. We've already mentioned, obviously, they got a lot of tools to do that. But even losing the first fight, so it does put them behind a little bit now. They need to start rationing these ultimates out. Obviously, Nano Boost could be crucial here, Matt. Obviously, Sound Barrier for Canada to match the durability that Austria inherently have.
That is a nano-boosted Lucio there. I believe that is probably not the intent. It's probably on Mangachu that they wanted to get it on, as Doomfist just get him right into the other team's backline as XQC will use Primal. Oh, nice use there by the Brigitte to get back on, by Hero Rain, and get back on the map. Uses that shield bash instead of like to bash anybody, stun them, get right back on it for the movement abilities. It's going to be an Earth Shatter from Watt 7.
Oh, he's moved out of the way. Nice response from Banny there to try and keep XQC alive. The Coalescence map definitely had enough damage because SQC was knocked to the ground already. Canada still retain control of the point, but at this stage they're very much just trying to stall out. Surefour has an EMP, but it's unlikely that Canada commit any further ultimates to this fight. Banny will eventually fall, and Austria back in control.
I think that you get a good nano boost in this fight. You're able to take it. If you're Canada, don't want to see Bonnie get nano boosted again. Sonics has a Graviton Surge yet again. You know, Mr. Dragon with the self-destruct, maybe they can combo those. Let's see what Surefour decides. Oh, they spot him out. That's going to be an EMP as well.
Yeah, now, is there a follow-up from Canada? That's a real question. XQC, this time he gets a nano boost and he's getting very aggressive. Definitely helps it. Nano gives you that extra health, and yeah, a Meteor Strike from Mangachu finds its mark this time around. Finding 2 supports in the 1 hit. And Canada will clean up once again. It's going to be 72 to 55.
As the EMP comes out from Surefour, like as he's EMPing, XQC is jumping in, getting that nano boost, and then landing on the other team. And the Meteor Strike used here. So Mangachu has that extra armor, right? You see him jump up to basically 400 HP. Becomes another tank his own.
Surefour again, just pretty much setting up camp in the back lines of Austria. Obviously no big changes to see here, but a Graviton Surge, there's an Earth Shatter available. Austria definitely have all the tools they need to retake in this particular fight. That's the Graviton Surge, now charged to the walls. Mangachu take down. Watt 7 finds him with the burst damage. Now Canada lacking a play, but Austria did lose Brigitte, Hero Ray in the process, and the sound barrier to make Canada just a bit more durable coming forward. Watt 7 probably looking for a place to use his Earth Shatter, but very difficult to really connect this one properly. He gets Note. Now he's going to be hacked up though. He's just shrinking for the fence, trying to find an answer. But Canada remain in control. Looks like they're going to be able to roll this one out.
Yeah, it was a really nice play from the tanks there on Canada. Note was able to extend that point, just staying alive there as Diva's XQC rotated all the way around when he used Primal to get a health pack, and then he jumps in. As soon as he jumps in, he gets hit by the effects of the sound barrier, and then they're able to deal with everybody else on the point from Austria.
Yeah, I think, if a lot of people at home are sort of maybe seeing these games and maybe watched a ton of Overwatch League, but maybe not so much of the contenders scene, and this might be a little bit new to them, perhaps, seeing so much of the Sombra being employed and heavy tank composition as well, which was huge in Europe, and I feel like a lot of European teams matter here to prove a point about the efficacy of these heavy tank comps.
You've been playing at home, you've seen a ton of Sombra, and you've seen a ton of tanks, so...
You've seen more than you really wanted to see.
Yeah, I think the Doomfist play was really nice from Mangachu, though. Doomfist against those large tanks can do a ton of damage, right? I know he kind of... Doomfist as a hero is really like high risk, high reward, where you go in, and if you don't have any of your abilities, you're pretty much just stuck in there. You're going to die. But Mangachu does a nice job going in with the rocket punches, then using some of his other abilities to get out as opposed to, go in and initiate. And you saw him able to stay alive for a very long time.
The composition we saw Canada employ there to try and break down this GOATS comp was definitely higher risk in a lot of ways. There's definitely a bit more fragility involved, and it required a lot of their players to be able to make the correct moves to break this down. The hacks in the front line. So Watt 7 quite often was, rendered essentially useless as a tank. When you're playing against, compositions with Sombra and against the Doomfist, it's tough as a tank to feel like you can have a big impact. And when there's 3 of them on the side of the GOATS comp, you really want to shut down that effectiveness and try and turn the immobility against them when their abilities are taken away from them for a hack, for example.
A lot of times we do see like Doomfist Pharah against comps like that, because you can poke down a ton of damage with the Pharah, no hit scan on the other side with all the tanks to be able to deal with it. Then Doomfist can just kind of clean up. But I think Sombra here for Canada is huge because it forces Austria to make decisions, and it almost forces them to make mistakes, right? And as soon as they make mistakes, everybody on Canada, such seasoned veterans, of Overwatch League, and then even contenders, Mangachu and Crimzo, so they force them to make mistakes and they capitalize on them right away.
Let's get ready for our next map, Matt. We're already pretty much ready to go here. Kings Row is going to be where we head now for our Assault/Escort, or Hybrid map as is often known, and a quintessential, well-known map in the Overwatch universe.
Yeah, I think Kings Row is probably the map where even if you don't play a ton of Overwatch and you see it come up, you immediately recognize the map it is. It's one of the maps early on in the beta. Everyone got a lot of love on.
That's right, and if you're unfamiliar with the Hybrid map type, we do have a teaser to get you guys ready for the action.
This is Hybrid. Two teams face off as either defenders or attackers. The attacking team has a limited amount of time to first capture a payload and then escort it along a set path containing 2 checkpoints. To capture the payload, the attackers need to stand within its range for a set amount of time. Defenders can delay capture progress by also standing in range. The attackers must work together to clear away the defenders. If successful, they score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby. To get moving again, the attackers must clear away the defenders by force. If even one attacker is capturing the objective or on the payload when the time runs out, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attackers are either cleared away or they gain more time by reaching a checkpoint. Every time the payload reaches a checkpoint, the attackers score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The round ends when the payload reaches the destination or when time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points and escorts the payload farthest wins.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your explainer on Hybrid, and we're straight into Kings Row. Quite the juxtaposition between old and new, and between Austria and Canada now as well. We do have a veteran squad from the Canadian side, and Austria fighting for recognition here in LA.
If you're Canada, you have to be expecting triple tank, triple support for Austria coming out of the gates here on offense. Kings Row is a map. We even tried the talent takedown. You can run triple tank, triple support on.
As long as your Lucio doesn't die immediately.
Yep, as long as the other team doesn't have a top 500 main tank. And you don't.
Doomfist, Hammond,
and a Doomfist,
Sombra, Brigitte at the same time. Making your Reinhardt player, who was obviously very good, but unable to take action 80% of the time.
Yeah. I think they were really... We can go on the talent takedown for a while.
Let's get on to the real game.
Okay, so they'll be running 3 tanks on defense, Canada. You'll have Mangachu playing Hammond again. I think looking at Canada's comps, right? At least really early on in the match thus far, it just seems like they're trying to just force a lot of chaos, a lot of decisions, because you have the Hammond, who's such a Wrecking Ball, who's such a disruptor, right? And then you also have Sherpur playing Sombra. Just a lot for you to worry about.
No, a lot of events, Matt, that require like a very quick decision to be made and a reaction, and it really puts stress and strain on the communication, of a team that may not have been together for that long. These guys have been scrimming since about June, the Austrian roster. They've definitely been preparing, but this may just be another level. And Sherpur is more than happy to show himself and just do some poke damage and say, yeah, I dare you to come and try and do something about me.
But still, speaking to reinforce, some of the biggest things he says is Mangachu just goes, diving on in. That'll be a hack that comes onto Eclipse. So the Sombra, they're going to get the hack onto Moira for Austria, as they'll lose that big AoE healing.
Nice little fire strike there from Wat7 to clean up Crimzo. He was hacked briefly on the point, but Reinhardt at this point is happy enough to swing in the hammer. Austria do have the supports available to keep him up, and that's going to be a nice little charge on towards Mangachu. Quickly, he's going to use that reactive shield. It won't be enough to keep the hamster man alive. Canada now starting to crumble on this defense, and Austria, superior healing, superior durability, they will take the first point.
You'll have Mangachu go right over to Doomfist. XQC will play Reinhardt here. They'll get a Zarya in there as well. So you have that great Space Jam combination. You have the Graviton Surge plus the Doomfist Meteor Strike. But I was talking about before, Mitch, is that, speaking of Reinforce, he's like, the biggest difference, I think, between, Overwatch League players and even, like, contenders and below is just, like, the limited amount of mistakes that Overwatch League players make, because they've had so much coaching and VOD review over the course of the year that really good on capitalizing on mistakes. Here's going to be one. It's going to be an EMP and sound barrier right after that rally comes down.
Hey, see, for Wat7, that was tough. He was slept right after his hack. Unable to really do much about that at all. Canada want to take space here. They don't want to allow Austria to pass through this arch unscathed. So they're going to set up, play close. They've got Mangachu who can really take advantage of this close quarters. Mangachu, though, is stunned up with a shield bash en route and doesn't quite make it to his target. But Canada are happy with that. They force Austria back into spawn. And now they can set up once again. Mangachu can drop in from the top. He doesn't even have to use really too much abilities to worry about escaping. He can use his uppercut after he drops in, kind of like a Winston would use his jump pack after he drops down as well.
They get XQC so much ult charge that he gets himself a Earth Shatter. He uses it, doesn't really get much with it. That'll be a Graviton Surge plus the self-destruct. It'll get 2. That'll get the payload moving here yet again from Austria.
Yeah, quite a costly fight from Austria in terms of ultimates, man. They used 4 there. And, obviously, Coalescence, Sound Barrier being dedicated to that one. Graviton and the self-destruct gets the job done. Canada now can set up, and you alluded to the Space Jam composition, or the ultimate combo, man. Mangachu and Noten ready to set up. It is still possible, and with this kind of composition, not that hard to mitigate a lot of Doomfist damage when he connects with that Meteor Strike because shields block the radiating damage. The Hero Raiders already carry, wants to get a bit aggressive. Now they're caught up in the Graviton Surge. Banning and Mangachu fire forward. Sensonix gives himself a personal barrier for the time being, but all he can do is look on in dismay as the rest of the Austrians are cut down. Mangachu now, not having used that ultimate in that previous fight. They didn't want to combo it. They didn't need to use it with the grab.
No, you had already had 2 kills when the grab went down, and then you also had XQC charging through 1, so you'd already eliminated half of the other team. No real reason to waste that Meteor Strike there as Crimzo here. So he was getting pushed by the Ana in the back, and then Eclipse just decides not to go for him. That'll be 2 kills with the Biotic Grenade towards the end.
Which is, by the way, an incredibly impactful ability now, especially against a composition like this, which depends on a lot of healing being available. Sheer volume of healing, not really possible when you get bionated up. That's a big Earth Shatter, though. That's what you like to see. All 3 supports. Notice that target focus there. Austria stripped of all the healing resources as soon as the Earth Shatter went down, and now they'll stagger Mr. Dragonlord.
Canada baited them so hard into that. That was beautiful. Like a lot of the stuff we were talking about, where your Sombra needs to scout. That was a great read there from Surefour. Mr. Dragon eventually will die here, but Surefour saw the entire team running down that mid street. Probably had a good idea they had a rally and they were going to get aggressive behind it. And they waited until they all started around that one corner with the speed boost from the Lucio. Then he pops the EMP. The Earth Shatter comes down right away. And then right there, Crimzo lands a Biotic Grenade. They're not dealing with this Sombra at all.
They don't have much long-range capacity, man. There's no hit scan or any sort of actual DPS heroes on the Austrian composition. So Surefour can do this ad infinitum. You can do it as much as you like. Mangachu gets charged up to actually able to get out with that Meteor Strike. Coalescence coming in. Mangachu was hoping to shut that one down immediately from Eclipse, but doesn't quite connect. Still, despite the extra healing available to Austria, they crumple once more. Mr. Dragonlord desuited, 7 down, and now, it's going to be carnage. They will chase Austria down. And there's a minute 45 left in the round.
And I think my biggest issue from Austria's side is not the composition, it's just, with Surefour putting pressure in the back, and then you had Mangachu sitting up in the high ground. Crimzo knows, like, if they're not going up there to deal with them, they're not going to go up there to deal with him. So he sits on the high ground, just waits for them to come around the corner, lands a Biotic Grenade on 4 players, and then they're able to just push right on through behind
Geronimo!
Oh, not going to be good, yeah.
Shatter there. It looks like Surefour opted not to use the EMP when he dropped down, seeing that Austria weren't in the great position to use that, but Canada still making use of this choke point. But it might have worked against them now. Graviton Surge, XQC, getting the sensitivity up high. Still not going to be enough to keep him alive. Austria break through, brute force. Gets the job done as Canada attacks the side.
You can probably get another fight here, though, if you're Canada. It's going to be real close, but you're going to have Bonnie with that speed boost off the spot. Maybe you can get Note into position to land down this Graviton Surge with the EMP, and you can actually hold here on point B.
Yeah, Surefour's going to want to walk into their back line now, or maybe drop down off the top rope. Mangachu also going to drop in. Here's an EMP now, very effective. About 4 people affected by that on the side of Austria, but they still got the sound barrier out, most importantly. A lot of durability to help them through the nasty early stage of this fight, but Mangachu still gets that one tap on Eclipse. XQC holding on jealously to that Earth Shatter, waiting for What7 to drop his guard, or perhaps he won't need it. Not after that Meteor Strike claims Sensonix. Mangachu to clean up. 20 seconds left, Matt. It's going to be a long run for Austria.
Oh, and there's an Earth Shatter they're going to be running right into here. Bonnie with the sound barrier as well. They do have a rally, so Hero Ray will probably use that ability once he comes off spawn. There it is. They're going to have to go quick.
All right. 5 seconds left, and now just get to the payload. It's going to be quite a Herculean feat. What7 going to be knocked down, but good use of barriers by Sensonix to keep him and a compatriot standing. Eclipse manages to get to the payload, but they spread themselves so much, Matt, that their backline is left completely exposed. XQC can just take a couple of steps back and now swing for the fence. It's just Sensonix left, and it's going to be all said and done right here outside the Foundry. 1 checkpoint for Austria. And that's all the time they're going to have.
It's interesting, a lot of Canada's damage doesn't even come from their DPS players. It comes from XQC playing the Reinhardt, because a lot of the times they're waiting for these close quarter fights and they're using the EMP and then just the disruption of the Doom.
I have strategy too, it's
XQC
fucking great.
can just run around, just swinging his hammer, just start
that's
really
actually
putting
a big
down the
slam.
damage on players. 24% of overall team damage there. leading the team in final blows as well.
When we talk about
Who is that
compositions, Matt, counter compositions, you know, team setups built to shut down a strategy, I definitely feel like Canada has the epitome of that against this GOATS composition, right? This heavy, this 3-0-3, 3 supports, 3 tanks. Surefour obviously going to make it very, very hard for, you know, these tanks to use their mobility, right? So someone like, you know, D.Va, for example, Mr. Dragonlord won't be able to move around the map. He's very useless. He's like a pork chop when he's hacked up. Mangachu, of course, being able to remove a tank very quickly in the fight is crucial. There's a lot of
Surefour had 26 hacks that round. That's kind of, that's actually crazy.
Mini-Me kills himself.
Trying to heal up all of your tanks, and then your tanks are going to just get punched by Doomfist and XQC's Reinhardt
Triple
swinging on
tank
the other
dive
side.
again.
So what do you do?
Versus
do you just let
Mercy
the
on
just keep
a
getting these hacks
dive
up, just hope you live
defense.
through it, and then just push on
That's a
forward?
whole-
I mean,
oh, God.
to play around that
Are they
side.
gonna
Like,
try and
she is
split
so
dive
strong
with
right now, and you
Mercy?
can see that Surefour's
This
able
is
to play
gonna
such
go
a
really
low,
badly.
high reward
This is gonna
style
go
by keeping
really
himself
badly.
way out of arm's
Austria,
reach
what are
and getting
they
tons of valuable
thinking?
information and damage.
They're gonna try and split dive this. The problem is,
I mean, I think you
it's
could play
not
some
going
for
to
like
work.
two
It's
ways.
gonna
Like
be
if you
like
saw Austria playing like
I think I know what Austria is thinking. Expecting the magnitude Doomfist
with a lot of the
Dragon.
tanks,
Just expecting Austria
over and over
Doomfist
again.
again, but
Bonnie on the
thanks
Widowmaker
to
here.
someone else doing more.
Hammond sighting.
Oh, bye. Bye, Surefour.
This is bad. Oh shit! Well,
Oh, nice.
This is still gonna that was good, but I will be shocked if they hold this for more than a minute and a half.
That'll delay their inevitable defeat.
Especially with the hamster.
Look, Austria has
Hamster.
no
Don't call him Wrecking Ball or Hammond. We're just sticking with hamster.
hamster.
Oh, yep, and that's why this doesn't.
Oh, Jesus!
What? He lived?
Oh
How did you not die? Oh my God!
Not die
Okay,
there.
now it's. Oh, pfft. What
Now,
the fuck? Yeah, okay.
What the
yeah,
fuck?
now they're dead. They're all
Yeah,
dead.
so the problem is that
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
it's a split die. It's what? Like, you remember how?
Oh no!
Oh, it's
You remember when?
I love you.
Remember back in stage 1 when dive with a soldier staying back with the
that was stage
thing?
They're going triple
It's like a
tank.
variation of that, except a nonsensical version.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, what the fuck? Okay, and now we're back to Ghost with an Ana. Oh, okay, Mega
Oh, no, they're going
He's gonna get out. Oh my god, what is this?
What the fuck am I looking at right now?
Mangachu just gives no shit. He goes in.
This is so aggro.
Pikachu knows what to do. He wants to go to big bombs. He wants big bombs, and he doesn't get any big bombs.
Oh my god, this is.
Oh, that's gonna be disgusting.
Oh man, the momentum is.
Oh no.
Pikachu!
They're actually just
Stop it,
Protecting
Mangachu!
these players standing out in the open.
Oh,
Stop it!
Mini-Me.
Reinhardt,
Oh,
and
Mini-Me.
Zarya, and now you're Lucio.
Up
It's
and
probably,
before
like,
that.
three
Oh
of the
my
worst
lord,
picks
this
you
is
could
so
have.
aggressive.
And you know, if this wasn't
What the fuck? Yeah, pushed them all the way back.
Once unpunished,
They're even letting them out of
so much more
spawn.
threat in the backline that they have to decide who they deal with. And Austria, frankly,
What the fuck?
their mental bandwidth is being so heavily
Look at Austria, they haven't built anything. Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh, he was lucky he got slept there.
Oh my god, they almost pushed it all the way up. Oh, and now they're back.
I mean, if Surefour and my girl are drowning, catch me on King's Row, spawn camping Austria. And then the zoning bombs for just shits and giggles.
Barrier denied. God, fuck me, God, that was horrible. Anyone could have told you that Austria's comp made no sense.
How many games am I winning?
Austria wasn't looking too bad in the first map, but there they just stuck on something and refused to switch.
What were they playing?
They were playing, so it was like, first of all, they tried to run goats against a Doomfist Sombra, which just completely didn't work on attack. And then on defense, they ran a like weird variation of split dive with Junkrat, Widow, D.Va Winston, and Ana and Mercy.
Ana Mercy, yeah.
And it just got fucking shredded for obvious reasons.
I get what they were. I get what they were going for. But if you're gonna do that, just run Treehouse Law forehead. Like it's Treehouse is the version of that works on Kings Row, because defensive dive on first point Kings Row is hella awkward and that's dive is super strong.
For a little bit of an interview, it's going to be our boy Malik with Eclipse.
Thank you very much.
Did Canada run Treehouse defense?
Eclipse finally got out there, got a chance to, you know,
tank dive at the beginning, swap
how do you
to
feel about that first half and how
Zarya.
shaking off the nerves?
Oh my god, he's such a tiny boy!
I was pretty nervous.
He's a little boy! Oh my god!
I want to pet him.
Confident. Also,
Oh my god, he's so cute.
He's so such a tiny boy. Tiny boy.
So you're feeling a little bit more confident. You thinking you guys?
I want to pierce his ears and call him my little boy.
Did he speak English?
Maybe possible. I don't expect it, but
he's Austrian.
Wow!
Appreciate you keeping it 100.
Wow!
I know the Austrian education system isn't famous, but I think they at least teach people English.
I don't know. I thought they speak a different language.
How does it feel to be
They speak like they. Actually, I don't know if Austria have its own language. Not they speak like German, but.
No. I think they do speak a dialect.
Wait, how old is he? How old is he?
Pirate, is that better?
It's USA is pretty.
So maybe they might speak that.
All right, man. Well, Eclipse, thank you very much.
Oh, also, is my mic now better, Pirate? It's sounding nice, right? Yeah.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever, and by Omen by HP.
Want to buy hair like that?
I got a new laptop before moving.
Oh no!
You are not driving. I'm driving.
Oh, they put Mangachu on Hamster?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, his hamster is so good.
It worked very well.
Mangachu's definitely the best hamster on the team.
No, he's actually insane at that hero. I don't know why he's insane at that hero, but yeah, I saw it before the World Cup. He is insane.
Definitely offense taken. I'm in the driver's seat. Think of it this way, bro. Like, I'm kind
He's
of
he's like probably the best hamster player I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Like at all.
I'm Batman.
I can't give any good reason for that. That's
just
just the thing. Tanker might be as good as him.
Secondly, I'm Sinatra.
Tanker is as good
You
as
are
him.
sleepy.
No,
You are sleepy, man. Bro, you are definitely sleepy. You're sleepy.
I'm not entirely comfortable saying that.
Sleepy, man. You know what? You drive. It's fine.
Are they arguing about which shock player that they are?
What? Full disclosure, I haven't driven on the right before. What? Yeah, I technically don't have my US license yet.
What is wrong with you?
A lot of things!
Get ready to show the world who you really are in the Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh my gosh, these commercials. It's gonna be even worse at BlizzCon when they do all this stuff, but like twice as much, because there's gonna be so many new people watching.
Yeah.
What if Uber didn't have a driver's license?
Actually, yeah.
And he had to Uber everywhere.
For that.
God damn it. First of all, he should use Lyft because fuck Uber, and second, god damn it.
Uber's good, man.
No, Uber the cast or Uber the company?
Both.
God damn it.
God damn it. Yo, I can't even make any memes out of this. Honestly, I'm happy we're winning, but it's so boring.
Yeah, the matches versus Austria and whoever else isn't Norway or USA aren't going to be very much fun.
I'm looking
What
forward
about
to
China?
Oh, China? Your China can do okay.
Yay!
Alright, I buy that.
I think the only game other than USA-Canada that has any potential is Norway-Brazil. And then Austria-Switzerland for the absolute shit show that it's going to be.
I wouldn't sleep on Norway against USA or Canada. I think there's a possibility of a few decent games there.
I think it's probably still going to be like 3-1.
Probably. They're probably going to be 4-0 realistically, but at least it won't be like garbage Overwatch. Like Norway will put up a fight.
What is garbage Overwatch? Well, what is considered garbage?
I don't know. Garbage Overwatch is stuff like Canada versus Austria, or like from the first stage, like Hong Kong versus everyone, where they just don't even try. I mean, they are trying, but it's like so ridiculously below their opponents that it doesn't matter, and it's just sad. It's like watching someone pick a puppy. Okay, I see those predictions.
I don't know whether or not to yell at you or agree with you, so I'm just going to stay quiet about that.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Brazil beating the US 3-2?
That's confusing.
I mean, I want to see that happen. I want to see the baby raging.
How do you?
At the same time, I don't know.
Wait, Brazil beating Canada 3-2 and US 3-2? If Brazil beats US or Canada at all, if Brazil takes more than one total map off of US and Canada, I'll eat my fucking hat.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch World Cup 2018 LA group stage. Kind of nice to do it here in a place where we reside. And already, Matt, in our first match...
No, Brazil is not that good. Brazil is not that good at all.
I think it's pretty
Even if their team is entirely the team that won South American contenders, still wouldn't be all that good. I've seen those teams. I've seen those teams scrim. I've seen those teams scrim against NA teams, and the top South American contenders team would be a competitive North American Open
They
team.
heard a clips in the interview. They kind of know where they're at.
Even though people always say, "Oh, Brazil, look, they have such a great record. They've been dominating for so long." They would honestly be probably a contenders trials team in NA.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, seriously, like the Argentinian team that got second place in SA Open Div, that team is a sort of competitive North American Open team. They may not even make playoffs. Like, there's worlds where that team would make playoffs. They've gotten second like 2 seasons in a row to the Brazil team.
And I think the thing that's not on here that kind of stands.
I mean, there's certain players that might.
Yeah, like Klaus on the Argentinian team.
Yeah, Klaus, exactly. That's
like he just like carries them. The team as a whole is bad.
Bonnie connects with 22, so a ton more value out of the Lucio.
Like I know it's blunt, and I'm kind of blunt when it comes to like the Australian and South American Open contenders regions, but like people try to give them the benefit of the doubt because their tournament's name is contenders too, but it's not like they're actually playing at the same level as the major regions.
No, it's unlike Overwatch League where you make subs at half and then you can't change. So these will be the players you will see for maps 3, 4, and then if we do need a 5th map, game 5. Agilities comes in for Bonnie. That's pretty interesting. You take out one of your support players for another DPS. Now we get to see, Crimson's hero pool probably, broaden a little bit. Imagine if they need like a Lucio Mercy, he probably plays that. Somebody else will pick up like that flex support role. You imagine Mengachu? I mean, that's why he's so great to have on a roster like this. You could throw him out there.
Oh god, I forgot we have Rockles in the US.
If there's sort of any map where something like Torbjorn could be possible.
Oh yeah, you ruined my sweet bliss.
On defense.
Oh my god, why not Sleepy?
I
know they had. I know Arrow's not a dumb guy. He had to have had a reason. But god, I just can't imagine what that reason is.
He said the reason he said Rocket is end because he is more vocal than Sleepy.
Okay, but you also have
bullshit on.
You also have Elk and Moth on your team. Which is this Elk for us? Is it gonna be Elk or Moth playing this month? Moth, okay, that's what I thought.
So on that note, we do have
but like you have 2 great shot callers in your team. I don't know. I don't know.
This is a
Rockets also had a lot more. Rockets also had a lot more. What's it called? Not experience, but like.
Time to capture 2 objectives.
But Rockets is on
better with the guys. Chemistry. He had a lot more chemistry. It was the same reason why Jane picked what's it called? Bonnie over Verbo.
Well, no. Well, Bonnie's also outright better than Verbo. Like that's not really a question. Verbo was well. Okay, so I'm sorry. I don't know that. I don't know how good Verbo actually is, but I will say that whenever we saw him playing Owl, it was not impressive.
They score 1 point.
Can one of the people that makes those videos where it's just them screaming something do these videos?
If even one attacker is on an objective when the clock runs out,
We need to get Bri to do these videos, dude.
This extends play indefinitely.
He could be like,
until either team is cleared away.
Oh no. You couldn't say Jake is mad.
Crunchyroll. Time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points.
I'm a big Sleepy fan, so I'm super biased, but I really wanted it to be Sleepy, especially because Rockets did it last year.
I agree. I want Sleepy. I want Sleepy to be a starter. But if Arrow says that he's not as vocal or has good chemistry with the team, then there's something we can do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I obviously don't know better than Arrow. Arrow knows his shit, and he saw all the tryouts, so it's not like anybody. No one who wasn't there for all the tryouts has any right to judge Arrow's judgment here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I understand the outrage, but
yeah,
if like the results say Ruckus is a better fit than Sleepy, for maybe for this stage, in World Cup, then that's great. That just means that Sleepy has a chance in the semifinals.
I would very much like to believe that Sleepy is going to get a lot of playing time in the World Cup.
Are there swapping people between like finals and like group stages and finals?
That's what they said that they will do.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually hadn't heard that yet.
I would say in the Overwatch League side.
That's because Sleepy is
so Roadhog.
We will look at his
because Sleepy is best off support NA.
They were going to run like a triple tank, triple support for
what the fuck? Austria, you better not be running this. You better not be running this. Oh my god, they're running this. What?
Why is fucking No, Quad Tank is legit. I buy this. Quad Tank is legit.
I buy it too. I buy it too, but when you have Hammy, I don't know.
I'm very worried about this.
No, Quad Tank is legit. I buy this. Also, I fucking love Canada. They're running the triple tank dive.
If the coordination is good, I suppose they can use the hooks to burst down. That old-fashioned.
So far, it's a stalemate. No. Why is it Jill? Wait, I just noticed.
Oh, what?
I just noticed. Agility's
Wait, Agility's is on Lucio?
They have 3 DPS. They have 3 DPS players in right now.
I just noticed. Why is Agility's Lucio?
I'm pretty sure Canada is pulling the ultimate long bun here.
Okay, do you say STVN? Is that Steven?
Yeah, it's Steven.
I would just call him Steven because I'm not going to do all the syllables main.
Oh, Stefan. Fuck you guys.
Stefan.
So that's objectively wrong. Well, you call him Stefan, but you can't call him Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan. There's no F.
Yeah, there's no F, no PH.
Stefan's hamster is so good.
It's so good. I don't know how he
Can we just point out how can we just talk about how awesome Hamster is as a hero? Like,
yes.
It's just
like the day he came out, I heard
fun to watch. He's fun to play. He's hard as balls to play. He's got a really high skill ceiling. He's just like. That's what I want with a hero. It's great. And he's completely unique. Like, there's nothing copy-paste about it.
I don't know. Oh!
Not gonna work with this.
Oh, that was a good bubble. That was a really good bubble.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Hang on. They've got a shot. Oh, no.
Wow. Okay. You know,
Canada might have the best tank line in the entire World Cup.
Wait, who's on US?
I kind of want to do a VOD reveal of this.
They land.
It's time to get. Look, I adore the Roadhog, but it's time to get off it. Oh, he still has a Dallas Fuel spray.
Interesting use of the from Mangachu.
He's hitting his return.
Okay, so the day Hammer came out, I heard someone call him the most Overwatch hero ever, and that's the most accurate description I've ever heard.
Now we'll see Austria run a Sombra.
It just represents Overwatch so perfectly. It's just
really
embracing the cartooniness while also being a completely unique concept. It just works.
Oh.
God damn. How do you challenge? How are they supposed to challenge Crimson?
Why are they still? Okay, never mind. They're off that comp now. Steven's on Sombra, but still.
The thing is that Austria looks like they could be a halfway decent team if their compositions made like even a little bit of sense.
Well, I think the reason they're running the things they're running is because they're horribly uncomfortable and everything else. Like I think there's a reason they're not on dive here. And I don't think
Watts. Winston has historically been iffy, right? So
I think so, and like dive requires a lot.
But like there's still, but I'm not saying you have to run dive straight up. Like you can still keep run. There's still a bunch of comps that involve putting Watt 7 on the Reinhardt, which he is the best at. It's just even the comps they are running around that, they just the situation. It's not sensible. Oh lord. Sure, did you see how close Surefour was? Okay, well they did get XQC, but that was. Did you see what Surefour did? He was just like just outside of the range. That was fucking incredible. Now this is their shot. This is their shot.
They're going to have to cap. They can cap this.
Yeah, okay, they have it now, or at least they should.
No, you speak too soon.
No. No, I'm not.
Canada can
stay alive.
Oh, okay.
We'll have a final attempt here.
I don't know. I don't know.
There we go. There we go. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, never mind. We're bringing it back. They're bringing it back.
Oh, no.
Oh, never mind.
Poor Agility.
Oh my god. Target focus, please.
All these dive tanks are just gonna...
Oh shit, that's a good point.
They did not end up bringing it back, but it was closer than one might have thought.
But he's actually hacked on his wrecking ball, so not able to use his movement abilities to get back towards the point. So it seems like Austria will have to wait.
Okay, they're going full goats.
From the spawn.
They're going full goats now.
I love this meta so much.
Can't really go wrong with goats. If you think you're opposing bears and you just run goats, easy.
Yeah.
When you're scared, just go goats. You just can't go wrong.
Oh my god, no!
That was bad.
I love you! I love you, goats! I love you!
What the fuck?
Oh my god, I love goats so much!
6 fucking K.
Fuck space, notice the better diva! Don't even at me on that!
Oh, the Hammond boop! It was the boop up and they couldn't get out! Yeah. Holy.
I will say Canada has the best tank line in the entire.
Okay, but wait. Does US have Muma cool map this year? I honestly don't remember.
You have Muma
space.
XQC with the super Winston.
But it's not as good as XQC Node and then sort of Magnitude.
Okay. For the record, XQC is really. I would definitely say right now, Space is better than XQC. XQC is really on practice and team environment, and if you specifically watch it against good teams, the way you
you know what? I agree with you, but I think Muma is spectacular. He's good, but he's not like.
Muma is literally the best Western main tank. Like straight up.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like, I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad. I think he's quite good. He's just like he's not like. Like he is good. He's, like there's a reason he's on the team. He's just. He's consistent but unspectacular. When going to that way, that's how I would describe him.
I would describe him as pretty spectacular.
Oh my god, I love Note so much! Look at him! He's feeling so good! Oh, I love Note.
Note's underappreciated.
Note is so fucking good. Like it's unbelievable. Like he's very underappreciated.
I'm so happy.
Not so much to work with.
I'm such a fangirl. I'm sorry, but I love Note so much.
Goat strategy, 3 tanks, 3 supports, and I think Surefour in a good case, Sombra needs to be in there, right?
Did I just hear the caster call it the goat's tragedy? I swear I heard those words, and honestly relatable.
What is this?
Goat's tragedy.
Goats.
On the point, just putting down some damage.
Well, Minefield dropped down, and Watt 7 was able to follow it up with a charge towards Magnitude. Perhaps an Earthshatter even, used to try and break some of those mines down to get some area of effect damage to clear the way. But execution
to the meta. That just like kind of forces the other team to run weird stuff in anticipation that it might happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love playing goats. I love playing goats. And I love doing like one-on-one bot reviews of people in goats. It's just really
love the Manga Fist.
It's just really bad to watch from the outside. It's really bad for macro strategy.
It is very weird to watch from the outside. Fortunately, the counters goats is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That was really stupid.
0 deaths so far.
I guess they have time, but still, that was
really Sombra's thing. He's got 40 enemies hacked, 21 via EMPs. He's got an EMP every
40 enemies hacked. Holy
not
shit.
Not going to be able to push the point with all these tanks if you're
I don't know what Australia can do at this point. What can they do at this point? There's nothing really.
Not Goats.
Die.
Goats doesn't make sense. This comp is tailor-made.
They can't. Well, okay, they're getting challenged. They're getting challenged. I don't know how long this will last.
And Sureford just run all over you.
XQC trying to get back in, but he's being caught
One
out.
tick.
Now they have a shot here.
You have a big boom.
XQC
is just freaking out.
XQC
is like, look at how high my sitting.
Surfer's just sitting.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh, it's Australia.
Just sitting.
I don't know how well that works, but.
Lucio!
Oh my god! Oh no!
Oh, that was so painful to watch. That last fight tried to throw, and Austria wouldn't let them.
Time he had, and then he dropped in.
Oh wow!
He was good.
Yeah, and sometimes you know when the Lucio gets nano boosted, we all kind of laugh a little bit, just because. Why would you ever? But there towards the end, that actually may have been intended because you did have.
Why was Surfer just sitting?
Could have been pretty weak to sleep.
I want to know why Surfer was sitting, like just out of the view.
The reaction time from Magachu, he was about to get shattered. Yeah. He just pulls up, beam me up, Scotty. I'll have none of this, and then drops down on his shattered opponent.
But now with nano boost giving that instant burst heal and the damage reduction. If Agility's as low on the point as Lucio, and Lucio you can just dance around and speed boost and wall run and contest those points. If he's low, you may as well use the nano onto him, and then with the damage and the speed, right, that he can use, just because he's Lucio, right, he can stay alive for a very long time there on the point.
It's worth bearing in mind as well that the health that nano boost gives you, it's effectively more than just the number. Like, let's say you get 300, from the nano boost. Effectively, it's more than 300 because of the damage reduction factors in. So you get yourself pretty much back to.
Man, Austria, just run a Torb. Run a Torb, Austria. I dare you.
Or XQC, just follow up with
I dare you. Fuck you.
Dude, they should be running Sim Torb.
Do it.
How do you?
You had no chance. Just run it.
You guys all saw what I did. You guys all saw what happened in Australia against Benders with the Bastion Symmetron.
Oh yes, I saw that.
From the
that was brilliant.
And he's putting down more damage, so now he's just pushing you even further.
It worked because Australia.
He pops Primal Rage.
That's about like
all that health, and then he's pushing.
It was still great though.
There's no way
it was pretty great.
On the point
I still think the Sim is actually pretty good, and this has a huge amount of untapped potential.
Resources.
No one.
The learning curve to make it work is just so absurd. Okay.
People have scrimmed Sim, and people have done smart things with it. The problem with Sim herself is so really weak. It's so hard, even with really good positioning and really good ability to push, it's still really hard to win 5v6s.
Oh, Megashoe's got it.
And most teams will easily put out Sim.
I really want to know what's the situation right now.
But the fact that she's not getting play at all is, I think, a little underrepresenting of her strengths. Like, she's super map dependent still. Like, she's better in situations than used to be, but like,
she's still like... Good, but I don't think there's any map or any point where she's actually ideal. And ideal is really questionable. And she doesn't spit the counter anything either. I guess so. She counters.
It's not the fact that she's it's not the fact that she's like a good hero though. It's what she enables the other heroes to do, which I think is depending on your team composition can be an underappreciated.
They do get a first hold.
Like think about it. I know it was Australia contenders, but think about what happened in the Australia game where they suddenly turned Bastion into a hybrid taking machine of death.
Well, yeah,
right? I'm not saying that Bastion, you would use Bastion obviously, but you could turn, like you could put heroes that shouldn't be somewhere up somewhere, which situation dependent could be incredibly useful.
Which is great, but the problem is Sim is worth about a quarter of a hero, so you have to gain 3/4 of a hero via your positioning for the map.
Which is why it's team dependent, because you have to trust the rest of your team to be able. Oh shit! That was a very big EMP.
That was easy Canada getting full health. Easy bot.
I think they're just playing around. I think they're just playing with their food.
I wouldn't be.
I think this is fine for Canada.
I really wouldn't be playing with my food.
You just saw them.
I would say Canada's
Wait, holy shit!
Now,
you guys,
I will say this.
You guys, I broke the game.
self-destruct, you're gonna get
I'm playing Mystery Heroes. This is my watch, and I'm on Hammond, and I grapple. I'm in the Blizzard Roll attack squad, and I grappled up to the top pole, and you can't get off. Oh, never mind. You have to leave ball mode. Okay, I thought I broke the game. I started.
No. That was a known bug for a while with the PTR. In the PTR, they fixed that.
Alright, so what Canada was doing is they were just banking up all of their ults, and then they just used 5 of 6.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It's not the worst idea.
That's what that's the way I would have done it, but it's a way of doing it.
But still looking confident.
I mean, essentially, all they need to do right now is just have XQC go crazy.
Okay, man.
You can do that.
It's so hard to kill.
Get some pocketing from the coalescence from Crimzo, but just to make sure he's
alive. There he goes. XQC's gonna go do it.
Around towards that mega health pack, and they're able to take out Mr. Dragon.
Mega's just gonna play a ring on the Rosie.
Because, you know,
XQC feeds easy.
Just as much as he likes.
Megas, you go back to play a ring on Rosie.
Oh my god.
Plenty of shielding. You need to see.
Austria,
by the way.
Okay, yeah, so I had to reload my stream, and now I have an ad for for the new RTX.
That'll be Steven using his EMP, and he just connects with Crimzo and Agilities, but he stops that coalescence from coming on down.
One tick.
He wants to, but the mine's already his way. He charges forward, he's immediately defect, but quickly before that happens, he does go for the self-destruct. That gives Austria a little bit of breathing room, at least a moment to
Canada has it. Canada has it. There's nothing. Oh, good sleep on the Angry Monkey.
I don't think it's gonna matter, but that was a good sleep.
And there we go. GG. GG.
I love how that rotating Hammond boopy thing is like a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, so the few good sleep darts there. You know, playing the Ana, we got the interview from him there at the half, but you know, not strong enough for Austria to get a win. It'll be Canada taking map number 3. Agilities comes in, plays support the entire time. Be interesting to see how they use him moving forward.
Who needs a shot caller when you have Agilities on Lucio?
Or Norway is looking at it like, how do you
actually, isn't Note the shot caller the team?
I have no idea, probably. Yeah, that would not surprise me.
You can play like a Roadhog, or Agilities play a Roadhog, they can play like solo support, they have like triple DPS that they want to. A lot of different things they can do that you don't really know how to prepare for.
One person's happy.
Bright smiles on the face of the Austrian roster here.
Two people are
they knew what
happy.
they were getting themselves into. Speaking with them a little bit before the game, they said, look, we're going to be taking on our 2 toughest opponents pretty early on here. That's really going to give us a chance to find out where we stand amongst the field.
Okay, 4 people are happy.
The jitters off. It's like, are these games that we're necessarily expecting to win? Probably not. But it's a great way to get ourselves in the mindset for those players of us that maybe haven't been on the big stage before. Very important to get themselves ready for crucial matches that come later on against teams that are not considered top 2, like Brazil, Norway, Switzerland. These are all
I would not be surprised if Austria beats Switzerland or maybe Brazil.
In this moment here, they're at the Blizzard Arena. They've been watching Overwatch League through the year. They get to play on the stage, right? So I think for them, this is a really cool moment. You saw a lot of the guys just high fives and whatnot. We're gonna get to see Rialto coming up next, which will be a very interesting map to watch. I know lots
of people are choosing Rialto.
Holds on this map.
Yeah, Rialto. Especially if you're playing. Rialto's one of the weirdest maps in the game, and it often lets worse opponents beat better opponents. You saw it all with like second win, like one every map second win one in a contenders was Rialto. They won it 3 times against 3 different opponents, and those were all their wins. That's sort of a common thing.
Has a limited amount of time to escort the payload along a set path containing 3 checkpoints. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby at the same time. To get moving again, attackers must clear away.
Can you imagine being the person controlling these heroes at the time
the payload reaches a checkpoint,
during this filming? It's just like, okay, now stop and shoot.
A whole new kind of proactive.
The game
no feed.
Overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attack.
I've done that once. I did that yesterday for a.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they did the
round.
And these are just all AIs, not second players.
Yeah, that would. I think it's possible.
Team switch sides.
That could is an option too.
Because that's what was never in the tutorial. That's basically Tracer. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just built in AIs to have them do specific things in specific turns.
as we head over towards Rialto. I think it's been my first time casting a professional game, which is great fun. Obviously, we've already played a bunch of this map, and we've
please run the Bastion.
Please attack Bastion.
Please bring out my wife.
There are a lot of options for flanking, but we really
bring out my wife.
Bastion is your waifu?
Yes, he is.
For example, he's quite extensive.
He's the ideal.
Who respect that?
He's the ideal bride. He's the ideal bride.
The Doomfist, the Junk.
He's the ideal Omnic form.
Right? A lot of
wait, I do have a Bastion gold gun, so.
Just into the courtyard.
Oh boy. That's
you have gold gun, Bastion? I have a gold gun for Bastion. My 3 guns for Bastion, Reinhardt.
I'd be surprised if they tried to play something like a pirate ship.
On one of my Smurfs, I only have Corb and Doomfist. That's my favorite Smurf.
Try something that'll
the first running gun I'm gonna get on PC is Bastion for sure.
Standard sort of setup from Canada so far. There are tons of ways for Surefour. I mean, he's already obscured by the fact that he has actually flies, right? But there are a lot of ways to flank around the enemy team fairly.
There's no way they're actually going to run that.
Austria,
okay. Yeah, no.
Might need to bear in mind what comp can we play.
We're back to this
or make it so he can't just
Surefour is so aggressive.
And then run back to his team.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Oh, I think he's just trying to hear the sounds.
It's going to be Austria out of the gates now. So
he's still there.
No, it's going to be
now he's not.
Triple
like, oh, hey guys.
They did detect Surefour right away though. They forced the translocator.
Oh!
Be ready for that stuff.
Oh no!
Agilities!
Oh no, Sensonics! Oh no!
Lucio boots for this.
That was amazing. No!
He's going to come off of the high ground.
I don't need a Magic 8 Ball to say that signs are pointing to yes.
This is so sad.
This is so great. But also, yeah, really depressing.
Is he gonna do it again? He's gonna do it again. Yep.
No, he didn't get it.
Word. But he did try.
Go again.
He's gonna drop down.
Go again.
He has his jump cooldown, right? Because he just dropped in, so he
XQC
quite
is
safely continue to harass Canada as they drop in.
Speaking of XQC, did you guys see the Turtle War XQC had?
Later than he would have liked to be on the bayonet.
I will say, Steven doing a nice job every time Mangachu
oh no, I didn't.
He's about to use that power driver.
Yeah, why?
He's able to take him out with
why though?
They're arguing about ethics in Overwatch. Overwatch esports. They're like,
I love how Wall was being shot by Surefour and didn't even turn around. He just kept moving forward.
I love how Surefour's entire thing the past few rounds has just been stand in the back invisible and tell everyone exactly what's happening.
Yeah. I like how Agilities is a better main support than Bounty.
Canada really seems to like that combination.
Surefour better be voice lining, that's all I'm saying.
Lose the Reinhardt shield.
Surefour better be like voice lining behind them. That's the best thing to do with Sombra.
Gonna be like some hacksaw roll shift or something like that.
So Doomfist definitely good here on Rialto.
Oh, he was thinking about it. He was thinking about it. Oh, that was a good EMP. Well, great, but it'll get the job done.
Definitely causes Austria to have to slop a little bit more.
Oh, so close.
Fuck, I
pro Doomfist. He's gonna go for the. Yep, he's going for the big grab. Big boy, big boy, big boy.
What the fuck?
What? Oh, I get it. If that worked out, that would have been a great play.
This is literally just Canada's like trying stuff, right?
Yeah, no. This I can say with near certainty they're actually. Well, no, they're not using it to try random things. They're using it to not give away any of the scraps they want to use against Norway or USA. They refuse to play anything they actually want to play against USA. That's why I think it's happening.
I mean, in that case, just an extra for my Ryan.
Can't do a heck of a lot.
He's got hacked.
Just wave goodbye to the first point.
Up and away goes. No. I mean, taking first on Rialto is no small feat, so.
No, it's not.
Nanoboost comes down as
that was weird. That was a little bit wasteful, I think, on the whole.
I've got to say, I think What's 7 is probably the hardest job inside of Austria right now, and he's doing a fantastic job of managing his shield, but also his positioning against such a punishing composition.
Oh, that was a good EMP. Sonic was done. Oh, what? How is he not dead? Okay.
If enemy gets sent over the edge again by Agilities, who definitely
Oh my god.
find as many environmental kills as possible.
Would you say with the game?
The dragon just flies into the fucking water.
Is probably the toughest.
It's like, nope, I'm done with this game.
Not feeding.
With the fact that like you could be running.
I know this map is super unbalanced on the defensive side, but it's actually, I just love it.
Steven, why are you still up there, you dumb fuck?
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and Agilities.
Play such a different style. We even talked to
How many boosts has Agilities gotten?
You know, XQC.
I think that's like his third, because he moved Quad 7 at the beginning, then he moved Mini-Me in the last, like, second, and the push before last, and then he just moved Mr.
Traded up in terms of, you know, more picks for out.
I'd love to give you guys a shot of where XQC is right now.
Poor Austria. They're just getting abused.
He's gonna
Yeah.
jump up. He's the merchant of Venice right now, man. Not a care in the world.
This is going to be something fat. What? What?
He doesn't have a chance to use that. XQC now realizing it may have been off a little bit more than he could chew.
Oh no, that was a good EMP.
It's a 5v4 now. It's equalized. Mangachu finds in another
Oh, that hack.
Double EMPs. Oh, no, it's gonna get anything. Oh, no, God, how?
Caught out by that one.
That choke has incredibly weird sightlines for D.Va Bomb. If you actually, I practiced a bunch of the D.Va on my team. I've had a bit of a piece of that choke. It's really weird. The way that D.Va Bomb's regging that choke is really weird. There's like a bunch of spots you can use where it will hit almost everything in that whole area, even though it looks like there are walls.
Compositions, but just the fact that you have that extra mobility and a little
Like that
bit more
choke is
speed to
incredibly
get yourself out of the way.
Yeah,
I mean, now when you're hacked is
Oh my god, XQC, why?
He's just trolling!
He really wants to set
He's
up a
actually just trolling.
Wait a minute.
What?
7 there, I think maybe from
How?
He moved water!
Wow! I want to see that!
What happened?
The DPI going up.
I guess he was under the bridge and he moved what?
Sombra.
How?
Get her out of stealth.
That's a legitimate.
This is normal jumping.
Wait, what time are you guys at?
Right now it's hitting 45. You see 45 seconds.
Alright.
He has nothing to worry about sitting all the way back there. He can heal.
Because my Wi-Fi is not super reliable, so I have to.
They're trying to go for it. He actually gets hacked, XQC, so it actually makes it down over to his gondola. It's gonna be a big self-destruct.
Oh, good bomb!
Great setup there.
No, there was a grab, so it doesn't matter.
Mr. Dragon Lol. That's the best username in the world.
A little bit further.
Excuse me, how is it not better than my username?
Well, you're not in the World Cup.
I'm sorry. Actually, I'm sorry. Right now, I'm Trash Panda.
On the start of this stage, to have another choke point right.
You do know what a Trash Panda is, right?
I do not, but
it's a raccoon. A Trash Panda is a raccoon.
Oh. Well, it fits me regardless.
So your username is Raccoon.
It fits me regardless, because I'm Trash, but I'm also a panda that's Asian.
There's going to be Steven's EMP.
That's hilarious.
No follow-up, and then it's going to be a self-destruct that comes from behind there. Really nice play there.
Good bomb! Oh my gosh, no.
Mangachu finds one.
How is no landing like Cobra Bomb?
4 players on the side of Canada were hacked by the
Jane teaches him good shit, I guess.
No, did not use the pro bomb at second point. There's a neat bomb you can go at second point where you go over the back wall.
Oh, I was watching.
Oh man, you know, I get tired of seeing these kind of deep setups here. Look at he knows where Austria are trying to approach him. Wants to drop this on the corner so it affects both sides around that L-shaped building. Gets 2 kills. Immediately puts his team back in the fight after being hacked.
So you looked at the Canada roster and they're stacked this year. You know, obviously they got second last year, but you know, they come in and you know, arguably the even stronger roster this year. I think with a lot of the improvements Sherforb has made as a player throughout the year. Obviously you have Note in the lineup now. I think that was probably their biggest struggle last year. Mangachu was forced to play like off tank all of the time.
A lot of D.Va from him. Yeah.
To where after a while they just kind of resorted like, hey, let's just play triple DPS. Let's just play like Pharah, Genji, Tracer, and just go for it.
That sounds like the Spain approach.
Spain plays 6 DPS.
Yeah. Even though they're all support players.
That's right. His entire team is just support players who want to be DPS players.
Canada, you know, definitely had their challenges.
Run something almost got
swept up by
Run a
Australia.
Bastion.
They reversed them.
Look what,
really set them on the
look what Austria. Did you guys see where Austria?
But right now they're looking very hard to fault.
What is this?
They're never going to get spotted here.
I don't know if this is going to work. Are they trying to do the fending strat?
Yeah. With Slambulance. I love how Roadhog's tummy is the flag.
Yeah, this is the Finland strat. This is the Finland strat.
You know what? They should do with the Roadhog? You know what they should do with the Roadhog skin? They should have it so that the jiggle physics of his belly make the flag wave.
Yes! Yes, you're a
Tweet Jack Kaplan.
Paul Jack.
Oh, that works. Crimzo. Why was Crimzo even out? Megachu's on Bastion. Megachu's on Bastion.
Yes! It happened!
Raise the shield down.
He's trying to get him out.
My waifu!
Oh, well,
my waifu!
Wait, where is he?
Oh no, my waifu!
One really good biotic grenade.
Rip the waifu.
Interesting position from the
waifu.
It's worth noting also that
Megachu is off the Bastion.
The Sureforce almost at an EMP, so he's just going to EMP this. They're just going to push
My waifu got some screen time. I don't care. Oh, that was a fast EMP. What the hell?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a Slambulance comp, like right there in range, right?
True.
It works. It's just old farm.
There is definitely an opportunity for them to come back and defend.
Okay. Why is Canada? Why is Canada? Why did Canada play Bastion and it wasn't Surefor?
That's a good question.
Because Surefor's switch hero button is broken, so he's always on.
He's always on stock, bro. I mean, he did uninstall Windows. So
how do you even do that? Because you can reset Windows to factory settings, but you have to go through like 8 menus to even get that option.
He clarified on Twitter. He didn't actually uninstall Windows. He somehow managed to get it stuck booting into safe mode because he hit something with his knee.
What the fuck?
It's equally impressive. It's equally impressive, by the way.
Oh, what the?
There's the boot.
Solid carry! Oh my god! And he's... Oh my god! I'm quipping that.
What is that?
The solo carry!
Agilities should only play Lucio now, I have decided.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's the...
Oh, and that was a double grab.
Yeah, just drop custom, put in agilities.
Guys, we should just everyone needs to start pinging Jane on any platform you can and just tell him to always run agilities on Lucio.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do it.
Dude, I'm the coach for the open train runs. I will ping him in our team chat and make him do it.
That sounds like a really good way to get banned from Jane's server, honestly.
Listen, you don't do a server. You just do it in other places. Anywhere else you're in a common server with Jane, he doesn't have power.
So you mean like Team Canada?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone ping Team Canada. Do that.
So.
Agility's going crazy with the final blows.
Torp, wait, her Torp? Megachu Torp! Yes!
Oh, now he has Torbjorn on
Oh, yes, the Megachu Torp! Let's go!
Yes, he got it! Let's go!
Okay, EMP now being used. Graviton surging down. That's going to be it's just pointing away.
One more for the banner!
Like, it's... Like, I'm not even memeing. Megachu's
you gotta get that
fucking amazing.
Oh my god, this is the best game. This is the best game.
Hammer and tongs for Megachu now is...
I would feel really bad if I was Australia right now. I would feel pretty shitty about myself. Or Austria. I would also feel pretty shitty about Australia.
I know exactly what he's trying to achieve in this map.
Oh my god!
He's just hammering.
He's doing it! He's gonna do it! One core hammer! One core!
One core!
Hammer the Megachu!
He's trying to get one primed.
They're falling back.
He's trying to get one primed. Oh my god, another damn.
Oh my god. The Graviton Surge. The Graviton Surge comes down. That'll be a solo Graviton Surge.
That's just GG.
No, we didn't get to see Mega 2 Multicore Hammer kill someone. Why?
In a clean sweep.
Still though, holy shit.
Now Matthew, we cast a fair bit of Overwatch, and we always do our very best for the academic side.
SKC is still wearing the Dust Fuel function
he had. There wasn't really any to be mentioned. No. Agilities, obviously, that wasn't staged. Austria just pushed
that was
just for some reason thinking that they'd be able to survive. And
easy clap. Easy clap, boys. Alright, Brazil is definitely not beating Canada.
Yeah, you hear that?
Yeah, no shit.
The amount of people who have been predicting Brazil to beat Canada is just insane.
I don't understand. I don't understand why you predict Brazil to beat anyone. I think Brazil's probably going to lose to Norway and might lose to Austria or...
I don't know. It's really a complete mystery because either they're really good on land and they're gonna crush, or they're just
or they've never had to play a hard opponent.
Yeah, or they're just not that good, and their SR is inflated. And
it's not even SR. It's not even SR. Just that in a tournament setting, no one on Brazil has ever had to play a hard opponent. It's at least not in like a year. There was that one tournament that had a mix of North American and Brazilian teams, like before I was started. So
yeah.
Yeah, and that was like the last
to be
time
fair, they VPN to I think they VPN to NA West so they can actually get games. So
no,
like,
all
their
the
SR is probably deflated compared to their skill, but that doesn't necessarily translate to tournament success.
Well, that's why they also scrim North American people. It's a pain in the ass for everyone, but because of the thing. But they do scrim North American teams, and they're basically scrimming open div teams and being competitive with like the good SA contenders teams are competitive with good North American Open teams.
So tell me about this.
Those are like even scrims.
Of course, is your first of many.
That's pretty much what's happening.
Kick off the World Cup here. What did you
and then you've got Canada, you know, an OWL team.
Yes, a literal OWL team. Same with USA.
Yeah, same with USA, except USA doesn't have as good DPS. They don't.
USA has
Zachary and Sinatra. Like, come on. Come on. The best guy is Zachary, but like he's not Surefour.
Yeah, he's not Surefour.
He's not Surefour, and like. Agilities is a better version of Hydration.
One of the most intense matches I've ever played, and
you're lucky that I'm a bigger fan of Surefour than I am of my own country.
I
might be able to make the argument.
Like Hydration has fewer lows than Agilities. Like Agilities can be worse than Hydration, but like Agilities has a higher ceiling than Hydration. Hydration's ceiling is like solid AL DPS. Agility's ceiling is really, really good AL DPS. It's not the same.
Players from fantastic
in my
prospects showing up, and now with this morning's announcement of, you know, the Overwatch League next year expanding, I hope to see more of these faces.
But we'll see.
One important takeaway for me, at least in that interview, Matt, was that
and then I mean,
not the Canada we
I would rather have Mangachu than Sinatra in a lot of regards. But
but I think if you are USA,
I mean, they're hard to compare the two. They don't need hero pool overlap, and they're not used in the same way on their team at all.
No,
in like play style or anything. So I don't really like comparing the two of them. But
yeah, but like, I think that they should have taken Dante over Sinatra, and they didn't.
I agree. I actually agree with that. I'm not a fan of Sinatra at all.
Great way to kick things off here in the LA group stage.
Sinatra's he's a decent Tracer one trick. Like he could start for Houston. That's about it. Like in my opinion, that's about all. As far as I'll go. Yeah, like that's his tier of DPS. He's in the at least I'm not Clockwork tier, which I'm sorry, it's not a very high tier.
Widowmaker, I expected not to see as much Widowmaker, but
we don't expect it.
If you were fans,
man, now, if Sinatra hears about this, he would destroy me in one room.
But I think once you have all
Sinatra's terrifying to play against. Like Sinatra's strength is like it's like 1v1s and like basically like
very devastating against
small matchups. I don't really know how to describe it, but like basically I've played Zen against Sinatra a number of times, and that dude is so fucking like I'm pretty sure he's the only Tracer I've ever played in comps that I've won 0 1v1s with on like Zen v Tracer. Like that's like his strength is like going in and killing one person.
actually really needs to be treated as a priority.
Right.
And when you're
He's actually terrifying when he's doing that shit.
To close the gap or to punish
So like his deathmatch skills.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, basically.
Like movement and aim.
Yeah. Especially movement. His movement is by far his movement in like that sort of rate and close support is by far the best of anyone I've seen. It's not even close. It's why he looks so impressive, because he looks so aggressive when he's playing moves like that. But it's yeah, but he doesn't have a strong list of like engage, disengage, team skills or like abilities. Their abilities to job side blinks.
Really a great fan of that. I think their triple tank, triple support looked good. They were able to combo a few ultimates.
I love the slow motion replays.
They probably need to stay going
they're nice.
as opposed to trying
I heard people like who would criticize it in Out, and I really never understood it. It's just like that just looks sick. Like even though like sometimes they slow down the weirdest stuff. Like they slow down a single hammer swing, but it's like it makes everything look really cool, you know? Like look at that. Slow down. You're already dead, you know? Also, booping a diva is pretty amazing.
About the World Cup, though. I mean, imagine you know, how many clips did we see last year,
like,
right? You know,
he managed to boop a diva, like in the split second she wasn't firing.
Kings Row when we were in Poland, so many crazy moments during the World Cup.
This is where the memories that fuel our hype the next year come from. And we're so glad to be here, ladies and gentlemen.
Norway, our Norway for real. Here we go.
When we come back, Norway versus Switzerland in an
Norway 4-0. If Norway doesn't 4-0 this, I'll be disappointed.
I'll be really
impressed with Switzerland.
Yeah, I picked them for 3-1, but I don't know Switzerland very much, so I just kind of was like, I don't 100% believe in Norway, so. I mean, DCOD on land is going to be interesting, but
play for a team.
I don't fully believe in them.
Fan, every rival,
I don't know.
every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Is Jane's Open Division team? That's like an NA thing.
Yeah. We play an NA.
Nice.
Yep, it's pretty fun. I like the people on the team a lot, which I've not always gotten along well with all me as a player or coach with some of the players I've worked with, but I do actually like all the players I'm coaching right now. It just feels great.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Also, getting to sit in the room with Jane and watching coach people is really helpful for getting better. Really? Yeah, dude's really smart. He says very smart things. The way he thinks is really interesting. Yeah. He has like, he's fairly detail oriented, I think. Yeah, I agree. So, like, it works really well in a stream format. Like it's interesting to hear from you about this, because like, a lot of people are like, yeah, but like, Jane's coaching resume is terrible, and like, you know, a lot of the stuff that he explains on stream isn't going to translate to coaching, you know, for Fuel or whatever. So like, it's kind of interesting to hear your perspective on that as someone who's actually coaching.
I think he'll be fine. He's very people underestimate. I guess like they can look at his stream and say, okay, the things he does on stream when he's coaching are actually helpful for a team, which I get, that's a fair criticism. But the things he sees on stream, like you can see on his stream how perceptive he is, and that perceptiveness is really important. And he feels like when you're listening to like the way he approaches breaking down a fight or breaking down like a team style play, like it doesn't seem like he's missing anything, I guess is the way I'd put it. Like he's right. Like he thinks of a lot of possible ways to interpret things and lots of like possible like, lines of play, in a sense, and that's a very valuable skill. Yeah. Like my favorite example was I'm not going to go into too much specifics. I don't want to give anything important away, but like we were playing. We were struggling against a team running Sombra. We were playing Sombra 2, and James just walks in and immediately says exactly how we should be playing to counter them, and it's not something we had ever thought of doing. And it was just something I completely missed, and it was like a very like sort of lateral thinking line of play.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you don't have to worry about me revealing strategy.
No, I don't.
Or using them against you, trust me.
Yeah, it's just more principle. I just don't. I know.
It's a good habit to be in. No judgment or whatever.
No leaks.
No leaks.
No leak.
No leaks.
Leaks are for the weak.
Leaks are for the weak. Especially when you hide behind an anonymous account that's supposed to be a parody of someone else. Not adding. Obviously not adding anyone here.
Yes, not referencing anything specific at all. Nothing at all.
No adding happening here. I would never.
Yeah.
Blizzard Arena, make some noise. We are back live in Los Angeles, and we are gearing up for match 2 of the day. Canada just struck first.
Do you know any like any
coming your way. Let's take a look at the full
like good
schedule
European
for Friday. Right now,
players or people who would be interested in coaching a low-level team? Or a place where I could find people like that?
Up against Brazil and USA. Any USA fans out there will be
just off the cuff.
I don't know anyone off the. I know people who coach in Europe. I don't know anyone off the cuff who have any interest in like in coaching a less good team. I was thinking also.
We have 2 incredible casters.
Well, I don't know. I like there are places that have a lot of people who like want to be coaches. People who have. There are a lot of people out there who want to be coaches, but there are also a lot of people out there who want to be coaches and have no idea what they're talking about. I can't attest to the quality. And it's important. A bad coach is worse than no coach at all.
Yeah. I can see why that would be in some ways.
Yeah. With you, I was ready. I was camera ready, on spot, ready to go.
No, it's
just tracking me down.
I'm just checking away.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Hey guys, opportunity.
All right, well.
What are they talking about? Oh, it's similar in Hex.
We're walking through our caster closet here, so see what Puckett has to say about
it.
Alrighty, thank you so much, fellas. We got a lot going on. A lot of players being swapped out.
Puckett looks weird standing up.
Are you guys ready? Make some noise for the dark horse of the tournament. It's Team Norway.
I think it's his. It's got to be his shirt.
Oh, deep.
We've seen these guys in the past. You've watched Onigod tear up contenders as well as Decode. Norway, the dark horse of the event. Will they be able to topple US and Canada? Well, first, they have to get through this next team. Please give a warm welcome to Team Switzerland. Team Switzerland coming into this World Cup. They're the underdogs tonight. They know it, but they're playing with friends that they know very well in the Swiss scene. Can they get the upset? We're about to find out. Semler Hex, kick this one off.
Thank you, Puckett. So, you only do it once. You only do it once. All right. So, Hex, I mean, yeah, this is going to be it. You're telling me that Norway, they're the underdogs, but I'm sitting here thinking, obviously, they're Scandinavian.
Yeah, I suppose. I just look. This group is tough. You got USA, you got Canada, stacked full of Overwatch League players, and then some of the top contenders players, and then you have some players who are just not those on the other sides. But a lot of people think that perhaps Brazil or perhaps Norway can start challenging, taking some maps off the USA or Canada, and then maybe use the hubris against them, is what Norway says. Like, they don't expect us to win, so you start running, you start solo alting sound barriers against Norway, things might go a little bit differently.
That's what you get when you put a DPS main on a support character. I'm a support hero. That's what's up. It's just gonna get. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Lucio's a DPS hero.
That's what. Yeah,
exactly. Don't you read the forums? That's how you play Lucio.
Oh yeah, exactly. Always looking for the murder holes or the murder rivers or canals in that case.
We got Norway right here, and one of the great things we were able to meet with the teams the other day. Norway described themselves, and this is why I love them, as a group of idiots. And I was like, yes,
I appreciate that.
Into that. You got a lot of these guys who have some World Cup experience. I believe 4 of the 6 were on the team last year, so not nerves going to be a factor for this team in particular. As you mentioned, Onigod, I feel I've been watching Onigod since Contender Season 0. Great Genji. I don't know if we're going to see Genji in the current meta that we have. And this is the team I'm unabashedly rooting for Switzerland. I met with them the other day. They finally made it to the World Cup. Last year, they were 1 rank away from sending a team to the World Cup. This is their debut here. And these guys, I said, what are your expectations? They're like, we want to win a map. And I was like, yes, I will root for you until you win a map. I have so much Swiss knowledge I'm going to drop thanks to our friend Zoe here. And we're going to kick it off and take a look at our maps right now.
You're so American, Hex. Always rooting for the underdog every single time. But we are going to be kicking it off on Nepal. You'll see that we will be playing through the 4 maps here, best of 5 format, but with 4 maps to get into it. So, and we will be playing all 4. Keep that in mind. If you've been tuning into Overwatch League, you'll be familiar with that idea. So.
It's all about keeping the map score up too. So like I was talking to Norway before when we were getting makeup done. Yes, we're grown men wearing makeup. That's totally fine. And I was like, well, I'm rooting for Switzerland until they win a map. So if you guys let them win one, I'll start rooting for you. And they're like, we can't give up a map. We got to get all the map points that we can get. So we're going to kick it off here on Nepal, one of our control maps, a beautiful map. So perhaps Switzerland will feel at home here. Snowy mountains like the Alps are.
I like where you're going. It's going to turn out that Norway is going to be trying to scale the Nordwand. Just everybody's going to be dying on that Eiger North face. They used to call it the murder wall, Hex, for good reason.
Yeah, is that where you adapted Murder Hole from when we get to Iliad? Stealing all your material from geographic locations around the world.
Oh man, just read about that. Holy stack, what a boss! R.I.P. So, Norway, it is going to be, we got the 20 seconds until we get into the action, guys, so a little bit of time here to figure out what these rosters are going to look like.
So it's very likely that Switzerland's going to run what we call the GOATS comp, where it's 3 supports and 3 tanks. I call it the triple because my LA bias, just kind of my in and out order and the GOATS comp are the same thing. 3 supports, 3 tanks, and the reasoning behind that is, I quote this, more HP, more room for mistakes. So that's where Switzerland is going. I said, what if it doesn't work? And they said, we'll just add more tanks. That's how Switzerland wants to play. I'm looking forward to it. Norway going to come out with a Reaper, which can be very good against tanks. We've seen Mei on this point before.
I like that. Yes, give me more Reaper play. We're not seeing so much Soon these days, right? So you got to get your Reaper where you can get it, Hex. Already the wall thrown up here by Lux as well. We've seen Mei on this point as well because of that wall. There's that choke point. You can just cut teams in half as they try to push onto the point. So I like it. What? That is a ridiculously fast shatter.
DCOD, the heart and soul of this team comes in, but Switzerland's the one getting the kills. They started it off on a kill early on as well. This nice wall placement. They simply got there a little bit quicker. It's a game of positioning. Now everyone else escorted out of the point. Yeah, going nowhere, Zarya.
Yeah, already. Just straight action. That's what we expect on this point. So, Mimi's working his way up to the shadow of the zone. It's going to make life difficult for Norway trying to push back into this point. They're going to have to be careful about that Ryan shield, but Shinoda and maybe going to be looking to get the combo off. The 1-2 combination punch straight to the jaw.
Yeah, it's so momentum-based when you're running these similar comps against each other because you're just going to smash into each other as big balls of meat. Who gets the ult is a big thing. A shatter up for Mimi. CPA.
You got a target or 2 there, but they get overwhelmed. Mei on Mei. It's just getting cold. Sub-Zero. It's not as if the map was cold enough.
So it's Sub-Zero, yet we have Scorpion in the game. Old school MK action happening right now as Eva takes down a couple of their own. This one's pretty back and forth. It's been alternating in the kill feed. Does Norway have the throughput? It looks like they do to flip it back.
They will, and no ice block there off cooldown. Not going to be able to make it. We do get the stun. ODGOD getting taken for a ride, but Norway, they will succeed in flipping that point. Mimi has to back off, try to get in range of Shinoda for the heals, and he will.
Switzerland's Mei, pronounced Oops right there, threw in the Blizzard at the end. And you may think that it's a bit of a waste of an ultimate, but with how fast Mei charges Blizzard, you might as well toss it in. If they still had 2 alive, maybe you hit that charge a little earlier, then you can maybe pull it back. So I don't mind throwing in the Blizzard in a desperation there from Lux.
Lux is, I like Lux because you put that into a French accent, all of a sudden it means something expensive.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, definitely Switzerland. Not cheap place to live.
Like luxury.
There you go.
It's like all languages, some languages are based on the same one.
Well, there we go. Combo into it. Death Blossom from Track, just wiping everybody out, and they're nearly tied up here. Norway looking good so far. A little bit of a bumpy start, but...
That's super gutsy to throw out the Death Blossom when there's a Brigitte on the other team. If you can take down the Brigitte, then you have free range. The Death Blossom will get double stunned out. And if you can use a Death Blossom to secure 1 or 2 kills, go ahead and do it. It's one of the lower value ultimates in the game right now. That is if you're playing for Reaper to begin with. But as you mentioned, too much tied up. I'm going to take a little second to admire the ice wall there.
Oh, that's a shame. No follow-up on that ice wall. That would have been sick if they could have clipped the Rhine. There's the ult, though, straight into a shatter. DCOD already out of it. They will trade with no Brigitte around. It's looking like Norway are going to pull ahead in this fight. The Lighthouse blazing away. And yeah, 75% and counting for Norway. Looking fantastic. Very good. Very good.
It's going to be very difficult to see how Switzerland is able to get back in this one. They do have the rally from Shinoda, so you think that maybe they just use it during the fight to start regenning armor as well. They're going to have Sound Barrier. They have all the support ultimates they need to work with. Meanwhile, on the Norway side of things, 0 support ultimates. So Switzerland not out of this one yet. Got to win this fight, though.
There we go. That was a wall. It doesn't succeed in cutting the team, but it will buy a little bit more time. And speaking of which, to use the classic phrase, overtime Wickets burning Hex and burning down.
I've never heard that before. No,
I'm always coming up with clever stuff like that. Doesn't end, doesn't stop. Broken records have got nothing on me.
There they go. If they bring it back, they only had to use 2 of their support ultimates, so in decent position here, and they get a full cleanup on the other side. But that momentum swings back to Norway's. They'll have support ultimates. They're out. Very critical, though, that Remix was able to keep his Sound Barrier up. You start seeing a Blizzard come in, or maybe one of these crowd control ultimates. If you can get that Sound Barrier down, you're very likely to live through some of them.
Yes, and it just covers that whole point, Blizzard. But we will have the Lighthouse on the way here from IPN in just momentarily, so he can shine forth, lead the way. What's Decod doing? I guess he's just giving some soak. There it is. There's the Maywall. Do they manage to collapse on this? Yes, they do. Onigod has to use the Blizzard out in the open to buy some space here for his team to regroup and push on to the point.
Desperation there. Shinoda's been really killing it on this Brigitte. There comes the crowd control. They had to use the Sound Barrier in the prior fight, so no one able to get the extra healing there, but this is down to the last fight, and Norway, I think, would be a little upset with Switzerland. Switzerland might get their first map right away.
The underdogs, turns out they've got some fangs, Hex. This could be shaping up nicely. We've got another Death Blossom, and there's the stun you were talking about. Instant interrupt, no deaths there. Norway, however, once again, we are going to be trading 1 for 1.
They flipped up point over. Now it's Norway in control, so Switzerland has to get them off of the points and then take it back, but it seems like they're getting all the kills they need.
They do manage to pick up 1 there, and then of course you're going to have the delaying tactics coming through from Onigod. The stick on Kiva gets demeched, and they will succeed in the flip. Now can they get back onto the point? Track is trying to run his way back in, and he will not make it. Ejected immediately. And the strong start here for the Swiss.
Switzerland yesterday was so funny talking to them too, because they're like, we always start really strong. And then the longer it goes on, the worse we get. And I think a lot of this, as a Swiss team, none of these guys are professional players necessarily. They have jobs, they have to go to university. It's really expensive to live in Switzerland, so you can't just give up your life and try to become a pro gamer. So a lot of them don't necessarily have the endurance that you see of guys who are grinding 10 to 12 hours, because you gotta work, you gotta study. If you wanna live in one of the nicest countries in the world, you gotta put in your dues. But they come out really strong there, and they might already set their expectations a little higher after this.
We're gonna turn this broadcast into an economic lesson, because it's just like, Norway too, Norway.
I have sheets and sheets of Swiss backs.
I love paying $16 for a Big Mac. Yes, give me more of that, Norway. I mean, that was a brutal land.
I've been to Sweden. It is non-inexpensive to use a double leg.
All right, well, looking like we're going to get a bit of a change here from Switzerland. They're hightailing it back to spawn, so most likely going to get some swaps up here on the comp. Yep, we've got a Zen in play. The whole team had to go back just to make sure that Zen
he's slow. He's a bit of a slow player. So Switzerland told me that they're probably mostly going to run the GOATS composition. I think no one would be surprised by that. It requires a little bit less coordination because you're all clumped up, just hit your abilities, and you can probably win out some fights. If necessary, maybe they'll end up switching to some more projectile explosive damage.
It's looking like it's just going to be the wear and tear right now, building up. A little bit of a ride there, but maybe going to get overwhelmed. Many kills right now for Norway on this point. Successful hold for them, and they will take first control.
This is actually a really important stage for Switzerland, because Nepal is their favorite map, except for Sanctum. Sanctum being the 3rd stage that we would have to go to, Sanctum being the stage that plays a little bit differently than these other 2 stages. So they've already gotten stage 1. If they can get stage 2 here, they'd be very happy, because they don't really want to play Sanctum on their favorite map.
So let's see. Oh. Okay.
Did you just step on something? I still hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, well. That's interesting. Cover for me for a second here, Hex.
Well, regardless, Eco's able to take down Shinoda, who was the all-star standout on the first one, and that is 2 down quickly as Norway continues. The reset comes in for Switzerland, as they will take a trip off the edge of the map back down to the village. All these maps are connected, one giant map. All the stages are connected, I should say. And now Switzerland is banked up some ultimates to be able to use. They will have nearly everything. Self-destruct has been a big player so far in the one match we've seen in this group stage in Los Angeles. There's the grab.
Grab is out, so everything is good, and there's the combo! Tricky with the Diva Bomb straight into the mix.
It's tricky to rock a rhyme. To rock a rhyme that's right on time, it's tricky.
It's tricky. Everybody start jumping up and down right now.
That's also really, really nice for Norway as far as just cleaning them up, wiping them out. They should expect to lose this next fight if Switzerland uses their ultimates correctly. They almost have all 6 check marks going up.
Yeah, about to crack open that 6-pack. Kiva's the one who's holding him up. There's the Shatter to kick things off. We've got the sound barrier as well. Beautiful grab that's going to create an opportunity here. 2 kills already. Key figures as well with that AoE healing out of the picture. The Moira dead. That's going to make it difficult here for Norway to hold into this fight, and they're not going to do it.
They have to win this fight. It does seem like all the pieces fall in place. They used every single ultimate that they had. So Mimi's going to get himself another Shatter. Rein is in such a strange place right now because he's so difficult to play against these compositions where you're just getting stunned and bashed and you're getting knocked all over the place. However, the flip side of that is pretty much gonna have Shatter all the time.
I mean, you're hitting like 3 people every time you swing that hammer because you're also grouped up. Yeah, I like it. More Shatters, more explosive plays. There's the grab though. He looks he had something, but it's gonna be 2 kills here for Norway, and they look like they are gonna hold.
Yeah, there's no counterplay available for Switzerland when they were all caught in the group hug of the Graviton, and now it is just cleanup. Norway will take control back. It's gonna be difficult for Switzerland to get in here with any sort of significant force, and they will just push them back. We're gonna be tied up 1-1 on Nepal going into Sanctum.
Excellent work there, keeping it together. These are gonna be the slight differences that you're gonna, well, slight, I mean, barely major. Ult usage, right? Ult usage with committing everything to fights is going to put you on the back foot for the following one. And so Switzerland, you know, they threw everything in the kitchen sink in, and then what did they have left? They were trying to fend them off with, like, you know, the toilet plunger.
Yeah, Matt and Mitch talked about it a little bit earlier, how in the Overwatch League it's such a high level of play and such a constant high level of play that the smallest mistake always gets punished. So some of these teams that don't have that high level of experience are trying to build compositions which allow them to make mistakes. As Switzerland mentioned, the more HP you have, the more room you have for mistakes. When you're going in these similar compositions, any sort of mistake as far as do we need that ult can really snowball into being something that is difficult to come back from.
Look at what Norway are running though. This is going to be fun.
It's a new variation on dive, the Sombra Tracer being your dive DPS here. And Ana has re-entered the meta, as has Lucio. Switzerland's hashtag is actually no mercy, because they're thrilled that they don't have to play mercy anymore.
Yeah, get that res mechanic out of here. I mean, right now it is going to be a bit of a standoff between both of these teams. Norway have elected to take up the position first on the point. Switzerland, of course, moving together as a unit, maximize that AoE healing coming in from the Moira.
It's a little bit late. I think they wanted to touch the point before Control came over, just taking the roundabout ways there. But Lukes takes down Onigod. Those right clicks will charge your ultimate so fast. 2 headshots with the icicles.
He just wiped them out. There's the DPS down here for Norway. Again, kind of hanging out on the edge, looking to dodge that icicle, but he's going to get caught by Reapers.
Right, so
okay, then.
It looks like Norway actually didn't take control of the point. I'm sorry, I thought I saw them take it. So a good timing there by Switzerland to get on the point at the last second, and now they're going to start taking up the percentages.
Oh, wow. And there's the follow-up. All right, that first one, though, was spicy. I like that.
It's got to be burst damage, too, on the Sombra. She's up there trying to farm tanks so she can get EMP, but she'll just translocate out if you don't burst her down like that.
Beautiful work there, right over the top of the wall, trying to stay together. Tricky gets overwhelmed, but that is a perfect position for the Moira Beam. Just cleaving right through that choke point. You want to get through, you're going to take the heart.
And you see right there, that's what those 2 right clicks lead you to. The Blizzard already came in. They throw in ultimates, but Switzerland mopping up right now. The momentum firmly in their favor.
Beautiful work from Switzerland right at the choke point, funneling Norway into a max amount of damage. Max a lot of CC, and well, Switzerland are going to hold for now. It's a question of whether they can do it again. They will have sound barrier for this next fight as well, so one of those big defensive ults to really make them a tough nut to crack.
They've used a few more ultimates, but Norway invested Nano and Shatter into the last fight, so it's not like they're banking.
Switz, you see that though, Mimi just gets canceled out of his Shatter. He was trying to go for the surprise, crouching in the corner, but hey, Norway, you know, checking corners, that's what it's all about. Lux getting stunned as well. Track really coming up with the goods right now. Ooh. And the knockback by Scorpion.
Scorpion's gonna go off, but it was time to reset anyway. The only problem is now you're just giving over a bit of ult charge, but Eco did have his Sound barrier all the way ready, and now Norway has banked it all the way back up, even though they used Nano and Shatter in the penultimate fight, or the fight before last, rather, I'm sorry. They will have both of those back up. 6 whole ultimates, but Switzerland's really only 1 fight away. They could just kind of throw this one into an eco rush.
Exactly, trying to force some ultimates out. Yep, there's the sound barrier already getting thrown into the mix. We've got the grab as well by Onigod. They're trying to build on this. Maybe will eject Decod, so he's out of the fight. And then Norway right now, they need to kind of figure out how to get back into this. They're kind of hanging in here. Tough people to kill.
Switzerland is committing to this, though. They've used a Blizzard. They've used the barrier. 2 of them almost went off the edge, but were able to ride that wall, get back up here. And now it's just Track and Decod on the point.
They're going to get overwhelmed right now. There's 5 players right here for Switzerland just looking to crush. Not going to be able to survive that much longer. IPM gets boofed up again here by Remix. These environmental kills from the Lucio. It really is their time to shine.
Nice stagger there late, too, as Track and Oni will fall late. Now they're going to hold doorway here. They're going to have the Brigitte rally to work with and a Graviton. They can just lock them out. And the question is, can you grab at this door and get your swings through? There you see the armor coming up off of Brigitte's ultimate.
This is going to be the big grab. You just have to hope that D.Va's not going to be able to eat it. On the other side of the wall, hiding it. Gonna draw him in, but not quite the impact that they were looking for. Although Lux does manage to find a kill on Track. There's no Brigitte in the mix, but they flip the point in the meantime.
Yeah, they've got a back cap going with their Lucio on the point. Oni's off, but Decod running wild right now takes down a couple. Kiba's got 100% charge. It ends up being like an MS Paint Eraser, wipe them off the map. A nice little jump onto the point. They could be able to bring it back. Feels a small mistake they're using the wall and the grab the way they did. The wall would have locked them right out. But that's a lockout ultimate onto the point as Blizzard comes in. Just Decod here.
And he's not for long. Nope, not for long. Oh, and he gets boosted as well.
Desperation time, have to throw it in. And Switzerland, whose only fear was going 0 in 20, will not go 0 in 20. Move those expectations, boys.
That's going to be resetting things here for Norway. They're the ones who got to figure out now, wait, hold on here. What is happening? Excellent work there from Switzerland in the end, making all the right calls. So there we have it, Hex. Switzerland in the lead.
Very close.
Not so neutral after all.
We're just gonna hit neutral jokes all day. Very close on that one, though, if you just look at the stats. It's like 57, 53, I get 52, 56, rather, as far as just kills go. So just kind of small things here and there. I was pretty impressed with the Brigitte play. And you know my opinions on Brigitte when I have to play against her, but I thought Shimoda played it really well.
You love her as much.
Shinoda.
Yeah, Shinoda. You love her about as much as a Fanning McCree, I think.
Yeah, well, you know, then there's issues I have with Genji as well. But I'm just bad, so I don't like any player that kills me.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes, Hex.
Yeah, it is. It's OP when they play it, and it's underpowered when I play it.
Exactly. Why aren't I always getting 6-man D.Va bombs? What is this? Hear it all the time, guys. Hear it all the time.
No, it's exactly like paper is fine, rock is OP, signed scissors.
I'm liking this from the Ryans, though. Just lots of final blows for both of these Ryans because they're just in the thick of it all the time. So, I mean, hey, Johnny Boy, Reinforce, going to be seeing him play some Ryan. I expect to see the same from him at some point. It is Blizzard World coming up next on the maps.
Right, nor with the selection there, we will be going to the wonderful Blizzard Worlds. And, you know, you could say Nepal was Blizzard World. 2 Mays ran all the way through that. Both teams ran May the entire time. Those points get locked down by her ultimate, the Blizzard, like I said, which charges really fast. And I think Sanctum, which was a map that Switzerland feared going forward, was really won by 2 early icicles to the dome by that May, because then the next time you lock it out with the Blizzard. And, you know, some ult usage I think may be questionable towards the end. You wait for that wall to fall down because D.Va can kind of still eat it with the defense matrix. That buys you the time, and then you can just lock them out of the point with the grab. You don't even have to fight because they're not going to be able to touch it. So it looked like they had a set play there. I'm not sure, you know, but these teams haven't really had a ton of times to scrim, to be honest.
I'm looking forward to more of this level of play from Switzerland. When you get used to that luxury, right? You get used to that level. It's hard to go back, Hex. It's hard to go back. Yeah, I don't think they're expecting to do the same.
I like that these observers are terrifying us. I've got a bit of thalassophobia, and you just throw me right into the shark's maw. What was that? That we're friends.
Well, you know, we'll find out now if Norway are going to need a bigger boat because they got some work ahead of them here. Switzerland will be starting on the attack, though. Switzerland will be starting on the attack.
You are kind of wearing like the modern chic fisherman sweater as well. Like, if your collar was a bit bigger, you know.
Yeah, and the buttons along the side.
You know, get you a little corncob pipe. Well, we'll get it going.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Captain Haddock.
So Switzerland's goal 1 met. not getting shut out. They just, honestly, like, these guys were having a good time. They're like, look, we understand where we're at in this group. We understand no one expects anything of us. If we can win a map, then we're going to play free and easy, free and loose. And they looked really good there. They overcame a demon that was Sanctum for them. They were afraid of playing that one. So house money now, just play whatever.
That could be the thing. I mean, if they keep up on that point, it is a good point to raise, Hex. If there's no pressure on you, you guys are just going to mess around and have a good time, and you are playing a pretty strong comp. So they're sticking to their guns right now, Switzerland. No change there. And as far as Norway are concerned, I like it. We'll have a Pharah flying high. No real answer to the Pharah here with this comp that Switzerland are running. So I do expect Track to just have a field day.
Well, you know exactly what Switzerland's going to run for the most part. They're going to run this until you prove that you can beat it. The anti-heal from Ana has become so important in trying to disassemble this triple-triple combination, because even when you know what the other team's running, it's still like, well, how are you gonna beat it though? You know, like the GOATS comp triple-triple is what I'm gonna try to really name it now, because I'm really tired of hearing the word GOATS.
You've been spending too much time in LA. How many times have you been in and out? Triple-triple, really?
You know,
3x3?
It's a number greater than 0.
Okay. I like we have that baseline to get off of.
All right, so they are gonna move over to a Widow to try to deal with this Pharah. It's a great switch here to try to at least put some pressure and make her play at least behind some stuff, right? You don't even have to hit your shots, but it changes the way the Pharah plays.
Yeah, Track is already trying to change that up. Nice little nade there. Trying to limit that healing here. Norway, though, they are going to be able to find it. Track wins the duel versus the Widow, but we lose Nico in the meantime to Kiba. Oh, what a stack! Triple kill for Onigod on the Tracer. Okay.
These are the kind of big flashy plays that you're just used to seeing from Onigod. He is a DPS aficionado. He's so good at so many heroes. I remember him on so many different ones. His Genji great, but obviously Pulse Bomb can be pretty good against this composition if they're softened up enough.
Oh, they were all right there in the corner. It couldn't have gone better. I like that. More AoE, just do the burst. And now we have a McCree in play here from Luke. So it is not going to be the Widow. Feels like he wasn't getting the bang for his buck there. And now we've got a boosted Monkey on the point.
Well, they go to McCree to help with the Tracer and the Pharah. Of course, the stun on the Tracer will deal with that. It's a nice kill on Onigod. And Luke's does exactly what is required of this hero. Takes down the Tracer, takes down the Pharah. That's why he switched to that McCree.
That was a sick play, and not quite finding the shots there at the end. Looks like Nico will be able to get back around the corner. Now it's going to be about delaying here for Norway, hoping that people are going to be able to run back onto this point. We still have IPN chilling out on that Ana on the high ground, but Kiva's looking to put some pressure on him, and yep, we will have Switzerland successfully taking over the first point. Minute and a half on the clock. And we're up to 4.
I really like the quick switch from Luke's, though. After he gets challenged on the Widow and the Pharah just dunks on him, right? Because it's a high-pressure situation, but none of these guys in Switzerland have played in this environment before. The closest experience they have is playing at, like, local lands, stuff like that. This is a big stage right now. So now you get one map on your belt, settle some nerves, but I think McCree gives you a little bit more against the Pharah to not really worry about, deals with the Tracer as well. A great switch, and I like that he didn't just get stubborn and stick on the Widow.
Yeah, exactly. You know, trying to run it. You're not feeling it. You're going for a comp where McCree will get a lot of support. Just do it. Just do it. So Luke's, he might be backing off now, going for a bit of a change. He has got the Deadeye, but right now we have a couple of kills coming through here for Norway. Luke's just backing all the way up into spawn.
All the way back into spawn. And now Norway is going to have 2 of the snipers in Overwatch on their squad. They've got a Hanzo, they've got a Widow. There's a variation you can see very often run against the triple-triple comp.
Yeah, crouching Hanzo, hidden dragon. Not for that long though. The dragon out onto the point, clearing it out, cutting Switzerland in half. Mimi's completely separated from his team. He's gonna get overwhelmed out here.
It looked like it was going to be a decent disengage, but as you mentioned, they were bifurcated, and Mimi was just waiting for sweet death there, and it will oblige him with a grenade. It's so important to have the AoE kind of stuff to be able to deal with a very tank-heavy composition.
Well, Luke can't be too happy about that arrow to the knee, and he's lost all of his energy. It's done. Got to start all over again. So Switzerland now taking the time to kind of group back up again. That is kind of the point of the comp. Run together, get topped up, and move in. Try and take advantage of that shatter. Something like they're trying to change the angle up here, but it looks like Decod's also in position to deal with this. They've got it covered.
Yeah, well, this is one of the points, though, that it seems like you have more area than you do, but you can also get spawn camps on it because there are the flanks that allow a lot of the damage dealers to come out. Dragon gets thrown in. this one's getting cleaned up in pretty short order here.
Woo! That looked like it was about to hit, but the payload got in the way. That would have been sick. Too bad IPN. Really holding on to that nano. I thought he would throw it in this next fight, or this fight, but it's looking like he'll have that for the next one to rely on.
The problem for Switzerland right now is that they're getting beaten so badly in these fights that they've not even been able to come back as far as ultimate economy goes. So they need to start banking up some ultimates. The nearest one that they have outside of the ones already earned is probably going to be Rally. Rally can be a game changer. There's no Brigitte on the other side of things either, so you're essentially just going to give your entire team as much armor as humanly possible.
This next engagement is going to be key. A minute on the clock left here for Switzerland to make some real progress with this payload. And while Norway is still looking so confident, we do have the Mercy in play. And what's important about that is that we've nearly got the Valk online. So when those wings come out, it's going to get even more difficult here for Switzerland to crack it.
The Mercy is largely in play to damage boost your Widow and to damage boost your Hanzo to make sure that you're getting as big a burst damage as you can into this big tank line here. But of course, she also is able to resurrect. Erase any mistakes you might make.
Viva finally going to put some pressure here. We are going for it. Storm Arrow out. Not quite the damage. Mimi getting overwhelmed though. Decon coming up with the goods. 2 kills for him. The stun on Shinoda means that he's dead. And that is Dunzo. Norway, excellent hold on their part. Hardly any progress made at all with this payload.
They committed a great deal to that one too. So maybe Switzerland can swing it back. That aforementioned Rally, the armor-giving ultimate from Brigitte is going to be online. So Switzerland is going to be a little bit tougher right now. However, they're not going to be able to sneak up on him. Track is nearing infosight, and the Dragon is ready to eat.
Let's see, now we got the Rally as well. Doesn't matter, canceled! Shinoda taking into the wall, some modern art, and it's over. Onigod now getting a position for the flank. If he can just hit one more arrow here, not quite going to find it. Still, nah, whatever. We're just going to have Ikyo killing him. Ikyo.
It's a little...
Sorry, have it.
Yeah, have it. Old habits die hard. Switzerland dies quick here. It just all fell apart after this first point. The choke was too much for them to overcome. Norway with a nice hold, bouncing back.
Sick play from Norway, looking like they've got a bit, trying to just show a bit of that pedigree right now. Them being the favorite team in this matchup. Switzerland not quite knowing how to react to that hold. And while that's, when you have a single strategy, you've made it perfectly clear that this is your single strategy, it just leaves the ball in Norway's court as to like, right, okay, now let's just keep throwing different things at them because they're not going to know how to react to everything.
That's exactly right. And Norway actually prides themselves on their adaptability. They said it's one of their strengths going forward is that, yes, we do have compositions that we like to run, but we're able to change up. And I think that Switzerland has had less time to really work together. Again, you got to try to coordinate work schedules, class schedules, and do you even really have time to scrim? And it just seems like they're going to run what they run until they're forced to change it.
Right, exactly. So you just bend their arm back far enough. I was laughing at Hex. I mean, I was listening to what you were saying, but I was also laughing at the fact that the Observer was trying to get a camera shot of that shark up close.
Oh, great.
So a bit of a jump scare there.
Thanks, guys. That's why I was looking away.
Shout out to the Observer.
I saw you grinning, and I knew that. Like when I see you grinning, I'm like, oh, this is bad for me. that's my first instinct.
God damn it! All right, well, now I got to work on my game face, my poker face a bit more here, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So defensively, Switzerland not out of this map. Look, they've already taken a map. Now they can actually take Blizzard World if they just full hold. And on Blizzard World, not unheard of to full hold this first point.
Yeah, welcome to our matchmaking experiences. Except that I'm usually the one full holding. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Get out of here, Brent.
Brent, I got him out of here, Hex. Repeatedly.
Yes, repeatedly you did. All right, so high ground hold for Switzerland here. This is generally what you might see with an Orisa. You might just be scoping out though here. Maybe drop a shield up there for some early poke damage booster Widow. No shield up top. There it is. Oh, really cool play. You toss it super high in the air. And already the trap finds Track back to spawn with you, Sombra.
There's a trade. Okay, IPN gonna go in for the Zed.
All right, full dive. Onigod on Tracer. Track's gonna go to Genji. They run both dive heroes. This is about as traditional as dive as you get. Zen, Lucio, D.Va, Winston, Tracer, Genji.
All right, so we do have that duo. We're gonna see a lot of Winston and Tracer play, 1-2 combination. With the Tracer obviously trying to kill the Winston softened heroes. Scorpion on the high ground. Well, Switzerland just electing to once again just stake together, work together as a unit, but that's also going to be a beautiful target here for the dive to go right in on them. Big kill on Remix. Shinoda going to die without that healing right now. Switzerland are going to be hard pressed to hold.
It's been back and forth. A couple next kills might really decide things. A missed hook might come back to bite them though, as he could have got tracked there, but with that dash reset, going to just dash right through. And so no full hold going to be possible here. Now they've got to hold right outside the box. Make sure that payload doesn't get too far. That is the box right there.
Yep.
And it seems kind of counterintuitive to be diving something like that with a Junkrat and Orisa setup, but that's how you deal with Orisa. You can't really get away. Just throw as much pressure on her as possible, and then hopefully make trades in your favor.
That was sick that they just pick up Remix. I mean, that's the best kill you can get right there. Oh, you had healing? Not anymore. You're dead. Speaking of which, that was a nice tire there thrown in by Shinoda, so that'll delay things a little bit further here. Onigod gonna get found by Lux as well.
Switzerland said they were no mercy, and you know, the play on words I admired as well, but Remix did seem very happy that it wasn't gonna have to play mercy. Now perhaps a little bit rusty on it, unable to defend himself early on, but also in that kind of composition, where's mercy gonna go? There's nowhere to fly to, there's no safety, you're just sitting there.
It's not rust, my mercies were made out of stainless steel, Hex. You know, rust? What's that?
Yeah, it's all that glimmers is not gold, perhaps. Oni looking for a flank here. He's got his pulse bomb ready.
Oh, I think that one got eaten. It did. Nice D-Matrix play there. And now, well, you're not going to be able to D-Matrix this. There's Track, hack and slash, 2 kills. And we'll get a third off the back of it. Mimic's not going to be able to get out of there as well. And just perfect play here from Norway, setting it all up, catching Switzerland. Between a rock and a hard place, and they will find success here on the second map.
Track comes to life. His best hero pool is that flex DPS, the projectile heroes, your Pharahs and your Genjis, of course. And Norway will equalize things. We sit here 1-1 out of our 4 maps.
Sick work. They did. You know, sometimes you do get that. Teams, they need a little bit of time to warm up, shake off the nerves, right? It's the first match of the tournament. You're playing on a stage in front of a crowd, not quite feeling what's going on. But it's looking like Norway more than capable. Excellent work on the second map on BlizzWorld.
Hey, at least got some free gear. You're supposed to take the sticker off the hat, son. Come on. I'm getting old, man. Getting old.
2018. Come on, man. Seriously, now you're supposed to leave the tags on your shoes. I'm like, you gotta draw them at somewhere.
Wait, come on. Are you serious?
You gotta draw them at somewhere.
I leave the security tags on my jeans.
I don't even have tags on these shoes. Or laces, or anything to do with that. Let's go ahead and hand it over to Puckett. He's got a coach to talk to.
Thank you so much, Semler. That's right, I got MKL here, the coach of Team Norway, and we got to start off here. Yeah, make some noise for this man. You've been around the scene since the very beginning. You put this squad together. You've been coaching these guys through it, but you came out a little bit slow on our first map. What happened on Nepal?
So, just to credit Switzerland, they played the tank comms really well. So us Europeans really credit ourselves on the tank play, and they made us really proud with that. I think we came out a little bit slow. We were like stage jittery, but as Blizzard World came, we played our game and we played really well.
We saw some nice dives. Track was popping off there on the Genji to close out game number 2. You guys are now tied up at the half. But looking forward, we know we have a few more maps to go. What do you think is going to be your greatest strength if Norway's going to get the win here today?
So I think like we played our dive really well. And then as for a game mode, our escort is probably our strongest map mode.
Feeling good about the escort coming up? All right, there we have it. This is MKL. Give it up for him one more time. Norway, Switzerland, it's all tied up. Second half coming up when we return. The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup, and by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
In the Overwatch League, you're hyping up the chat, taking your team to hashtag trending, and spreading memes at Tracer level speed.
All while watching us cap the point.
Speed like that deserves a network that can keep up. With T-Mobile, get all the Overwatch League you can handle with coast-to-coast coverage. Now your arena is where you make it.
everybody. Yes, we've got a tied-up series here, Hex. 1-1. Turns out that, you know, the Nords, not that passive after all.
Yeah, and I talked to, like I said, there's 4 guys who have been on this stage before, this kind of stage in the Overwatch World Cup, and I was like, are you guys nervous at all? They're like, no, maybe these couple guys will, but we'll help them along. They no nerves at all, but came out a little bit shaky, but you got to give all credit to Switzerland there. They played so well on their favorite map. I mean, if you're going to take one map, they got it right away, and now their eyes are set. Their next goal that I talked to them about was like, we would actually like to beat Austria as well. You know, kind of regional rivalry there. You know, so Switzerland versus Austria is going to be coming up tomorrow, I believe. Tune in for that one.
I wish we could get some player comps.
Yeah.
The level of trash talk in that game will be high.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Be fun to watch. But so far, it's been really interesting to see that it's not just these compositions that we expected. I mean, we expected with teams with less times to scrim that they're probably just going to run triple tank, triple support. It's a comp that doesn't require the most coordination. Everyone's together. You know where your teammate is. But now we've seen some nice switches into Sombra. We've seen McCree. We've seen Pharah. We've seen Widow. So
seen Mercy.
Yeah, a lot more diversity than I was expecting early on. And we do have a substitution. Here comes Helv, who the Swiss tell me is the best player on their team.
So he's going to be that anchor, that guy to just rally around here to close out this series for Switzerland. So he'll be getting in momentarily, and we will be getting that third map underway.
And the only time you can make substitutions in the Overwatch World Cup is at halftime, and that player must stay in as well. So substitution game a little bit different than the Overwatch League if you're used to that one where you can sub in every map. Only substitutions made at halftime, and that's it. You're stuck with them too. So a lot of teams had some issues with that. They're planning around it, but they do want to give everyone some playtime, of course.
Oh, yeah, you want to get, but then it removes the strategy of, you know, like, oh, we have specialists, we have map specialists, comp specialists, this is where we want to use this guy, etc. So there are, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult, I'd say, for some teams to shine, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, could be an issue going forward here, but like I said, man, I was rooting for Switzerland unabashedly until they got their first map. Now I'm just going to be neutral. I'm going to be as Swiss as possible.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're going to lie back as Norway poke holes in you repeatedly.
No, we just got clock jokes, chocolate jokes. Did you know that Switzerland has the highest consumption of chocolate in the entire world?
You know why, Hex?
Why?
Because when it's cold, you want sugar. You want chocolate. You know, when you're out there and you're freezing, that's how it's quick energy, quick burn energy. Get that in your body and you're good to go.
Okay.
That's it. So, just, you know, knowledge, guys. If you go out hiking and you're really cold, just bring some chocolate, bring some candy with you. You'll be all right.
There you go. Good information there. We are going to head into the Temple of Anubis. We're going to be a control map. Now, this is an interesting map because you can run those tank compositions, just kind of bowl your way in. But it's also a really good Widow map, especially on first point. A good Junkrat map, especially on first point on defense. And then last point, you can see all sorts of stuff. Also, and we've been talking to some teams that Sombra is very much back into the meta, especially against these tank compositions. Anubis and Volskaya is where Sombra made her bones, her debut on the scene before some of the changes came around to her hero. She was a must pick on both of these because in Control, you're trying to bank up ultimates and make one good push, or sorry, in Assault, bank up ultimates and make one good push, and Sombra's just like, nah, nope.
I mean, you think all the bones would be in museums, considering how much time has been around here, you know? Where this map is located. No more mummies left here, Hex. I don't know, man.
No, I don't know.
Sombra's just, you know, out there gathering.
I would like to see some Hammond. They did go over it a little bit. Hammond's been so fun to watch right now. Hammond and Winston doing so much damage on this current patch.
I was happy to have one on my team, yeah.
Yeah, our Hammond was, he was all right. I think he's got a path to pro.
Yeah, he does. Hey.
Whereas we will be seeing Johnny at another Overwatch World Cup stage. We're only at the second one in lovely Los Angeles. Did you know that Switzerland is roughly the same geographic size as Los Angeles?
Stop it. So,
all right, I gotta save them. We have more Switzerland games.
I mean, exactly. You're gonna start going through these, then I'm just gonna be like, okay, buddy, let's keep going.
I don't want to use all my currency, which in Switzerland is the Swiss franc.
Stop it.
All right, defensively set up. We've got an Orisa and a Junkrat here. It's pretty standard. We've got a Widow in the back lines. No Mercy off of the table now as they're going to run a Mercy and Zen. Offensively, Norway looks like they liked what they saw with Bullseye, but they're going to put a Sombra in this mix as well. The only heals on the team being that Lucio. Never mind.
Yeah.
No heals.
Who needs heals anyway? Just kill everything.
There's going to be packs up here. IPN has taken a pack on that top side. They're going to try to pressure out this Widow. It's a really smart move if you're going to run dive to not just try to go in on the ground here. make that Widow deal with you. And now Tracer might just be in the back line. We've seen Tracers when they get back there just go on a magical mystery tour.
Oh, buddy, right now, decent defense coming in here from Switzerland. A lot of work being done by Shinoda, but we lose Remix again. And that might throw things completely out of whack here for Switzerland. Without that throughput healing, it's gonna make it so hard to hold, especially when you got a Genji chucking shurikens in the back of your head. Lux is out, and that is gonna be Switzerland getting overwhelmed.
Lux was in a good spot to try to bring his team back. Excuse me, Lux was in a good spot, but he did not see the Genji behind him, and that's, you know, that's kind of what being a ninja is all about.
Exactly,
you don't see
Hex. There you go. Wait.
All right, now you try to snowball this because you know that the defense is going to have to switch compositions. What works on first doesn't necessarily work on last, and hopefully you have ultimates ready to go. However, Norway does not have those ultimates banked up, but Oni God could change that right now. He's got his pulse bomb. He gets spotted out early, though. They're going to be looking for him on the side.
I like that, getting caught on things, environment, just making it difficult, even more difficult to predict where he's going to be next. Just trying to change up the angle of attack. If he can get into the back line with his pulse bomb, things are going to get fun. And he is looking for it. Yep, Shinoda dead. Perfect. Now just keep the pressure on Remix. Don't allow for the reset. And it is looking fairly good here for Norway. The total dive and the wipeout of the defense. Switzerland, they're getting overwhelmed.
They lost one early. We talk about triple as a snowbally kind of composition because once you get rolling with that comp, it's good. But dive is just like that as well. Once you get one kill, then you get dash resets. The Tracers, they're finishing off low health targets. And it is just Lucio dancing on the ceiling. But this isn't a Springsteen song. This is Norway completing it.
Excellent work from Norway. You got to give it. I'm glad that we were following Oni God's perspective as well. Feels like he was kind of the instigator going in, just setting it up with that initial stick pulse bomb kill. And then, of course, you've got Track, who's just going to be in here to just hack people's heads off. Great target focus right there. Yep, done. And then you get the Dragon Blade.
Remix just unable to get out of there alive. Your dash resets, you're just cutting everything up. And this has always been a great map for Genji on last point because Dragon Blade is that closeout ultimate where you're going to get multiple kills and you're going to get them very, very quickly rather than the slow, sustained push that a tank ball will give you. Dive is all about that burst.
It's just coming in like a wrecking ball. Except we don't have it here. Never mind. I can't make that joke anymore because then it's an actual...
I mean, you shouldn't make it to begin with. It's just not a good joke. I've told you this several times. I don't know why you listen to me.
Just can't get the song out of my head, Hex. Wake up in the morning. How do you get pumped, right?
Yeah.
Definitely not with that song.
I guess that's song.
Definitely not with that song. All right. So Norway, obviously we're going to be switching sides as we try to change the subject. Let's actually talk about some Overwatch. Eco. On that Mercy, we will have it. And Ana as well. I am so happy to see more Ana play, though. Mechanically sound hero, more difficult, more challenging.
Yeah.
But also just fun. Sleep darts for days.
It seems like all the, with the reworks that have happened with supports now that, like, yes, Ana's harder to play than some of the other supports, but now you get value out of it. If you've worked on it, if you are putting in the time and you're actually skillful on it, then you are getting more value than some of the easier supports to play. They all have their place in the meta right now, and that means that the meta is in a very good place.
Exactly. That's the joy of it. I want to see more variety in the comps. Show me how deep the hero pool goes. All right. So countdown's about to finish.
This is
the game is about to begin.
That is a very aggressive high ground hold right there with the Orisa shield up front. Do they have anything to deal with this on offense? They do! Luke's takes matters into his own scope. Takes down Oni God.
Oh, buddy. Had to be careful about that angle. Luke showing the shots. Now he can get control of that high ground if he wants. And IPN all the way, playing passive in the back line. Nikon finds Shinoda, though.
Shinoda found himself right there. He fell right into a trap, and he deflected, but it's just a matter of time before that runs out. And now, despite that early pick, Oni is back in position anyway, so we're completely reset here.
Yeah, and we've got the Shetland set up now as well, where Oni can get the hang about. Looks like he's trying to get an off angle here going. Instead of hanging out on the balcony, he's going to be a bit more aggressive. This puts him at risk, but also going to throw things out of whack perhaps here for Switzerland, who are getting, well, chiseled down.
Oni's done a really good job. He almost got that DMAC going early on in that one. Now he's going to back all the way up. What you want to do in Widow here is make them try to dive you and then go to the other spot, and then go to the other spot. There's several locations. Almost a triangulation of Widow spots on this point. It's just about never getting caught without your grappling hookup.
Nicely done, Track. He missed the first one, got the second. Shinoda's out of the fight. Now we've got a tire, and they're all clumped up, ready and waiting. Again, Remix will die. Luke's and Hell follow. And man, Remix is having a bit of a tough game here these past couple of matches.
Yeah, it's tough. Mercy's, Allegedly, she's Swiss. You know, doesn't speak Swiss with the proper German accent, according to our friend Zoe. But
happens to be.
I would like to see them use Valkyrie and use some ultimates here, and then if it doesn't work, just get off of it. I don't think he's comfortable on it. He hasn't looked like he's been able to escape properly. I don't know if his team is giving him the escapes that he needs to get out of there. Just play what you're comfortable on. I'd use ultimates, and then if it doesn't work out, perhaps thinking of switch to the composition.
Yeah, a couple minutes left. Factor in a push. I mean, we've got ults. We're gonna straight up just chuck that nade in. Not quite gonna find a target though. Scorpion looking for the angles. With that barrier in the way, makes things just a little bit spicy. Not quite able to keep up with the healing. We will have, well, just the D.Va dying here as Track is once again ruling the roost.
That's a nice kill on IPN. Remix is still up here. He's able to bring D.Va back into this. They're committing. If you're gonna commit, let's go. Here's the blade.
Yeah, and now it's about Eco. Eco gets dashed through. We do have bomb thrown right into the corner. Shinoda still hanging out here with the blade. Finds the kill on Track. But we've lost Luke's at the hands of Eco as well.
That's some nice pressure here, though, from Shinoda still going forward, even though with that blade dying. Great healing there from Remix, but puts himself in harm's way.
Excellent nade right in there, denying the heal possibility. Shinoda still hanging out so very low right now. Has to be worried about a follow-up nade. But IPN, Eco and IPN at risk. We lose Eco. IPN somehow manages to stay alive in all of this.
I think it's all over but the crying here, though. Shinoda will fall. They will clean up that D.Va, and now there's only a minute left. Remix almost peeked around that corner, but that one's over. They committed everything that they had as far as ultimate abilities go in that push for Switzerland. We are under a minute, otherwise Norway will take the lead in this series 2-1.
So what does Switzerland have in store for us here to deal with these nades? Onigod, who's on fire right now, just popping off.
They're not making any switches here. They're just going to run at it again, and I think you have to get Shinoda to get another blade up. He's at 75%, should be able to get another Dragon Blade, which can swing the fight.
Yeah, there it is. You're calling for it, Hex. The man will deliver. He's got the blade online. Now it's a matter of finding the opening. Boosted decod right now.
Yeah, you wait now because you don't want to go into a boosted Winston. However, they lost Luke's behind this. He's got the Mercy. Have the Mercy, Oni!
Onigod! What a play. Headshot instantly, and the hopes right now getting shattered for Switzerland. We've lost the D.Va as well. Remix hanging on by a thread. We do have an Angry Monkey. That's Health pasting Onigod into the corner, but now he's 1v5, and he's not going to last long. Overtime, Wick's burning down. Lux is trying to get into this, trying to just touch the point to keep it alive, but he gets denied point blank by a tire to the face.
Very excellent, flashy DPS play from Norway there. Not only was it Onigod, but it was Track with a consistent damage that put the healers in a rough spot. Do I go heal my other healer? Do I heal the rest of my team? So much damage being outputted by that Junkrat. 5,500 damage, 25% of his team's overall damage output on that Junkrat. Yes, Onigod gets the flashy plays. Actually, Onigod did outdamage him, 27% of the damage on the team. A DPS carry from Norway as they're able to take Temple of Anubis.
Yeah. Shout outs to Onigod, the demon god. What plays, and we are going to be going into map 4. So right now in the lead, as you well know.
No, it was map 3, IMO.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I just noticed how I was like, wait a second, this is doing my head in now, but never mind, it's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to confuse you.
I'm just like, oh my god, yes, there it is. Hey, right there. All right. So it is 2-1, and we have a Widow comparison coming here to take a look at it as, well, the Demon God was definitely going to work.
Luke's held his own pretty early on, though, right? It's like, well, are you going to have an answer for Oni? He just pops him right in the dome, though. But the problem is that Luke's was under pressure so often from the opposing Genji as well. They had a little bit of issues there, and you do see the damage done overall. Luke spent more time on it, almost a minute more, but got out-damaged, out-final blowed, out-elimed. The difference between final blows and eliminations. Eliminations means you helped. Final blows means I finished it.
Yeah, you got the job done.
Yeah, didn't die as much either, but you know, it's a team game, and all these one-by-one comparisons do matter a little bit. It's overall, did your team allow you to do this? Were you protected? Did you get the healing? I mean, you saw that Onigod very often had his Mercy with him to damage boost, but also they set themselves up so that their Mercy had an escape. Right? You can come back here because if you get dived up front, then I'm back here and I'll take the dive and I'll grapple away. Then you can go to the team. They just seemed a little more coordinated as far as giving their Mercy options.
Well, shall we say standard, right? A little bit more standard is kind of the feel that I get, just because we did see Luke's, you know, trying to get into these off angles, trying to hold close on the bridge, trying to hold low ground, not really taking advantage of the full Shetland pony kind of setup with that shield. So, well, you know, I love this map. I don't know about you, Hex, but I'm a big fan of Gibraltar.
You know, it was funny when I was talking to Norway. They're like, well, we run tank heavy, right? So we're generally really good on King's Row and Rialto. And then one of the other members chimed in. He goes, but oddly enough, we're also the gods of Gibraltar. He's like, I don't know what it is about that map that really suits our style, but they're very confident going into Gibraltar as well. So he's like, it makes no sense. We don't understand why, but we are the gods of Gibraltar. This group of idiots is also the gods of Gibraltar. I love Norway.
Big words, big words. I don't know what to see about that. Challenge me on my
Well, I mean,
turf.
you think about what we've seen from Norway in the last couple of maps, and it hasn't been the super tank heavy ground and pound push on the ground. They've been running dive.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a Widow and Genji, Tracer, I mean, anything else, Gibraltar's going to be a good map for you. They also did mention they might run Tord as well.
Hey, I heard that chuckle. I heard that
How dare
chuckle.
you? That's a hero you're talking about.
Exactly.
How dare you?
Oh, no. Eco, don't do it to us.
Well, they wouldn't run it on offense, very likely. Unless they really want to invest in kind of a quasi-pirate ship. You set up a gun on the payload and just keep pushing it. It can be hard to crack. Now, defensively is what we know they're absolutely going to run because they're out of spawn. We've got a Brigitte, we've got a Mercy, we've got an Ana, got a couple of dive tanks and a Widow. So an interesting composition here.
Yeah, who's going to be able to hang out with each other, and looks like he's going to be able to win the duel initially here versus Onigod. So I'm not going to get my hopes up yet, though, Hex. You saw this happen before.
Yeah, his dueling has been good. It's just where the other shots are coming in. So his Widow v Widow's been strong. He's even killing him in unresable positions. Though a kill that early, you really don't even want to waste the res on. It's just a cooldown that you'd rather have somewhere else. And now Switzerland taking back. They're just holding on the high ground up on the crate.
Oh, buddy, that was a headshot, double headshot. All right, Oni. That was a body shot. Just going to keep going down the line. He's hit 5 shots in a row, 3 of them headshots. Let's go, buddy.
Well, they were able to take down Decod, so it's going to be very difficult to pressure Lukes. A lot of this pressure is going to have to happen from Oni hitting shots. He's hit a lot of headshots. His ultimate is nearly charged. That's a shot that helps. Track is able to come in as well, take down Remix. But Lukes, 2-0 in the duel.
Again, and we lose Scorpion, and that's going to be a res used on Onigod this time around. Lukes is just actually coming alive here with kill after kill. Track trying to keep the pressure on and not let him get too comfortable. Yes, pay attention to me. So you can take the arrow to the face this time.
Just well, fade away. Up over the edge. He doesn't even see when it lands right there. Now you've got a dragon ready too. That's exactly where you always put the dragon. No reinforcements coming through that door. That way you know where everyone else is going to be funneled to. And a couple of late kills. Seems like Norway should be able to grab this point eventually.
Yeah, oh man, Track right now. It's going ham. 5 final blows, 6 final blows. Let's keep it rolling. Finally, Elva's going to be able to smash him into the ground, but it's too little too late. And we will get a first point picked up here for Norway.
I'm very impressed with Track so far in this series because if Norway is going to be able to contend with the USA and Canada, everyone knows how good Onigod is, and everyone's known how good Onigod is for years. Now, he's going to be shut down. If you can shut down one, then your other DPS is going to have room to work, and so far Track has taken advantage of all the room he's had to work with.
He's been doing excellent work. So now it's a matter for Switzerland. They lose Remix first. It's pretty much the worst stagger you can get because now you're going to have to fight it late. And Track just going to chuck arrows. Oh, what a shot! Remix, that just sucks. I mean, it's not like he sucks, that just sucks. You're just wrong place, wrong time, arrow in the face.
That's really rough. There was a nice anti-heal on top of the shuttle there, and both the tanks with a great disengagement. Track just stayed up front. He's like, they're going to dive you guys, and our tanks are going to be there, so I'm just going to hit 3 shots in a row. I'm going to Robin Hood it.
Yeah, he's wearing tights too. What a beast, and now he's got the dragon online.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why this combination of DPS works so well is because all of the information that you get. You get infrared sight right there to be able to lock that dragon for Track hitting the close range right there. This is the Track show. Welcome to the Track meet.
Man, and the tickets are free. He is so beast right now. What a play! There's the headshot on Remix going for the bold res. Ends up costing him. And this is definitely going to be a second point picked up here for Norway, who are just cruising through Jib.
This is ridiculous. 14 eliminations, 11 final blows for Track right now. He's got 33% of his team's damage. He's hitting 33% of his shots on Hanzo.
Yeah, that's not easy. That is not easy. And now we got the brothers going at it right now. A bit of a spat.
Shimedo, Shimada. We'll see which one is better.
There Shots, I mean, he's getting on one. Yep, going on the line for the Dragon again. There's Reflect, dodges that, no problem at all.
Deflection coming in, he can just fire this one across the bridge. Why not? You're getting it up every fight.
Yeah. High ground cleared. Right behind the D.Va Bomb, though, so a little staggered on the fighting. Eco's getting dangerously low, getting pocketed by IBN, and it's looking like he will survive. They just can't kill this Mercy right now. The trance comes through. Eco, I mean, immediately topped up again.
They had a nano on the Winston, and he got bullied away, had to hide in the corner. It has been all Norway here on Gibraltar, and hey, they said they were the gods of Gibraltar. I'm beginning to believe it.
I mean, when the coach is saying, hey, you know, we love payload maps, I mean, this is, I mean, look at that. The body block is perfect. Not letting him even get out from spawn. Switzerland right now, I mean, it's chaos. You have to hope you can get the job done here.
And as a Tracer trying to go against the Hanzo that has put an arrow in your head a couple times, you just lose all confidence. You end up burning out your blinks early, you end up burning out recall early, and Norway will finish with a blazing fast time here on Gibraltar.
Excellent work. Everybody on fire for Norway in the end. Just hardly any kills at all. 10 of them coming through in the end for Switzerland.
You know what I appreciate about Track is that he did a lot of his damage without using Storm Arrows.
Yeah.
You know, without using the ability that just lets you pepper in 5 shots. He was actually hitting headshots. When he killed that Mercy, she was spinning in the air to try to dodge him in a resurrection, and he missed, I think, all 5 of his Storm Arrows. And then he's like, you know what, I'm not good with these. I'll just use the regular old one. Plinks her in the head.
There you go. Done point blank on the Tracer too a couple times. That definitely rung some bells.
That's got to be huge for them to get some confidence in Track. You know, a player that maybe they've not played a ton with before, not necessarily previously on these teams. And like I said, you know your known commodities and your D-COD and your Oni-God. You know what is there. Where is everyone else going to step up? Because they're going to be the focus of enemy teams. Enemy teams are going to shut down Oni-God and be like, someone else has to beat us.
Yeah.
And Track right now is proving that he can beat you.
Oh, I mean, Track right now is running at sick KD, 14-1. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. You're doing your work.
It's the 14 final blows which astounds me. Like, Oni-God's doing well. He's got 17 limbs, only 7 final blows.
He's a bit more generous. He feels like Sharon.
Yeah, why not?
He's looking out.
Yeah, give a little confidence. Give a little confidence.
That's helping Track out.
I'm just wondering how high pitch your voice is gonna get. Just keep going with it.
Norway though, well, now they're gonna get the swap onto the defense, and we're gonna get Track on that Genji, but we were seeing some sick blades from him, so I'm not even worried about that. The guy's gonna keep running game on the Swiss.
I really expected Oni-God to be running the Genji. That's what I remember him most on, but he's also probably the best hit scan player on the team. Well, there's actually no doubt he's the best hit scan DPS on this team. So when you have to run a Widow, you have to run a Tracer, he's gonna be your guy.
And in the meantime, Switzerland, we will get the dive tanks. We will get the Mercy, who's going to be able to follow them along with Deanna. Okay, so exactly, immediately getting a little bit of room to work with here on the high ground. That's going to be held. And in the meantime, we should have that payload making its way forward. Kiva's going to be the one having to keep an eye on it for now. And yeah, Norway just holding all the way back. They're like, yeah, sure, we won't even like give you the chance to get an early kill to get the ball rolling. We're just going to wait for our opportunity.
I mean, this is generally where you want to hold in high-level Overwatch. A lot of your ladder play, you'll start holding forward and then try to get a retreat going back here. So a lot of the more professional teams will just hold back to begin with, taking that advantage of it. Defender's advantage. They will just jump on this right away. A nice equalize there. Takes down both of the heroes that just fell. It is 4v4 right now. Offense going to keep pushing here. Oh, Mercy isolated.
Big advantage here as well because Remix is going to get back into this fight earlier, and so we will have that heal throughput coming through here for Switzerland. Oni-God finding Scorpion though, and Remix once again. Remix dies. 9 deaths for Remix so far. I mean, you don't really want to throw the guy under the bus though, because it's like 8 deaths for Scorpion, 8 for Shinoda, 8 for Helm, so it's not like he's just.
It just always feels
out of control.
worse.
It's not sideshow level, you know, like it's not out that bad.
No, it's not quite sideshow level yet, and it always just seems worse because it's Mercy. She's the linchpin of your team.
Yeah.
If you kill a Mercy, that's a fight that you generally expect to win because of her healing output and because of her ability to scramble away, and also, yeah, she can bring you back to life if you die. It's kind of important.
What's important is that Oni-God is starting to win this duel versus Boost as well. So we will get the res used here by Remix. So there's that mechanic that was just mentioned. And now Track getting in here. Nano boosted blade. Going for the hack and slash. 1 target, looking for 2. Gets robbed of that one by D-COD. No fair. And well, still,
really don't have anything to shut down this Genji either. Luke's has actually played really well so far in this map. He's just been stringing headshots together, which is really important. They're relying on maybe hitting a sleep dart or having their Winston in the correct area to be able to shut down Track on the Genji, and they finally take him out of the mix. Here comes Helv, who we mentioned might be the best player on this team.
Send them straight in right there. Decod now decides to get a bit angry. Looking to survive. Not the best one though, because Helm is also going to be there to punch him in the face. So it's a Winston on Winston action. Caught in the corner. Decod getting tased, and he just barely gets topped up again. Switzerland still in this fight. Minute and a half on the clock, and they will pick up this first point.
Finally come through there, are able to clean up the mess of the rest. A nice little late stagger. They could get on the Devo, but they take the Mercy down instead. We'll see the positioning that they take. Switzerland not out of this one yet. They're able to pull off this map to come away against Norway 2-2. I think would blow away everyone's expectations of both of these teams.
Yeah, I agree. Shinoda though. Looking for the angle.
Can Nanoblade him. You've got the Nanoblade. It's one of the combinations as old as time. You always think about who are good targets for Ana to Nano Boost. Give the extra damage, give it the resistance to. And it's always been really heavy tanks or really, really tricky flanking DPS. So Genji's been a primary target of Nano Boost since the heroes were introduced.
The dawn of time. Let's say there it is. Boosted Shinoda looking to just hack him up. There's one kill onto Onigon. Manages to set it up for Eco as well, and Scorpion finding Decod. Switzerland just rolling through this second point now with some great ult usage.
They need to roll through this point and actually take it though. The Cart's a little further behind because they invested a great deal into this one. There was a Valkyrie used, a Nano, and a Blade going forward, as well as a Primal Rage. It's a ton of ultimates, but Norway also not great in the economy as well.
Onigon needs to survive. We've lost Decod here for Norway, though. He was trying to get through that choke point, but he got shut down. Now it's the Blade fully committed here by Track. Looking to come up with the big plays. There's the one. Self-destruct finds nothing apart from Tricky. There's the DMEC, but right now Norway, the delayed challenge on the payload is working out.
It's just really smart. You see the timings of some of these teams be so much better than others of, yes, let's give up ground. Let's wait. We're not ready to fight yet, so let's wait. You saw a lot from Canada as well on their re-engagements when they came back in. Of course, they were running a lot of Sombra, so they knew exactly where people were and what time they had. But it's fine to give up progress as long as you don't give up points. The point will extend the clock. That clock right now for Switzerland sitting at 2 minutes.
It's about to take over as well. And now that payload, it has started to push back towards spawn. Scorpion about to get another boost online here. And with wall hacks for Switzerland, Luke, so he's going to be able to try and set up these shots. He's got to come up with something, and he does deliver. Onigon out of the fight immediately. And there's the follow-up hit on Track. Switzerland really falling back on the luxury of having this Widow on their team.
Now they trade out yet again. Now the deciding kills are coming in from Shinoda, who had to pick up the slack. Luke's has been doing his job just fine. Tricky is going to come into the highlight reel again with a 3 elimination self-destruct.
You guys can't see it right now, but it's a double facepalm head holding action going on right now because you're thinking this is it. Switzerland, they're going to get that second point, and then D-bombs.
You do look distraught. And there's just great kills early on from Luke's. He takes down both of the flanking DPS as a Widow. That's insanity. And then Shinoda comes in, gets himself a couple kills without having to use Blade. The saving grace is that they will have Blade for this next fight. They have Nano again. They have Winston's Primal Rage. They've got a lot to work with. Switzerland, do or die time. Here's the Nano.
Oh, what a sleep! What a sleep! Oh, man, IVN the hero! Nano boosted Blade, I think not. Oh, a sick play.
Sleeping Nano's dream of electric sheep, rather. They are still in this one, though, despite that hero play. They got a couple of kills. They didn't finish off the kill up top on Shinoda, so they're still diving in, and Helv has come to life. Helv has put down so much big damage on this Winston. Now the Blade trying to come back, and one more miracle looking for it.
Yeah, again, it's Track, and again, Track will find his kill. Looking at Remix is floating out in the open right now, but Luke finds the key shot onto Track. A lot of damage lost here for Norway, but they still have the tanks in this fight. Tricky looking to get a remake. There's the D-Mech on Kiva.
They're going to come in with Sound Barrier too. Norway thinks that they can bring this one back. They do have a defender spawn advantage, and they have ultimates yet to use. And Decod takes down Luke's. Has been so important.
What a stick on the baby diva, no less. Remix is dead. There's the backline gone for Switzerland. Shinoda, the last man alive here. Does find the reflight kill on IPN, but it's not going to be enough, and it doesn't look like anybody is close enough here for Switzerland to keep this map alive. Norway, the flags exactly flying high. Another victory for them.
Another victory for Norway. They will take the series 3-1, and when I spoke to them, they said every map is really important to us. I think they're a little surprised that they lost to the first map to Switzerland, but give Switzerland all the credit in the world as well. I think they put some people on notice with a lot of their individual performances. Now the question is now that you've got them all here and you're playing together, it counts as practice. Now you're able to scrim together, you're able to play on the LAN client together. I would expect them to continue to improve as the tournament goes on, but I was expecting Switzerland to not perform as well as they did. They put up a very good fight against a winning Norway team.
Yeah, so then managed to actually find that first win as well. So they've shown themselves now that they're capable.
Right.
They are able to find success here on the main stage, Switzerland. So no reason to get down, just more experience. And going forward, we've got 2 more days of this kind of action coming up, Hex. Yeah. They have more chances to prove themselves.
Yeah, and that confidence is just absolutely important as well. I mean, look, these guys, like I said, they don't know if they can become pro gamers, and we mentioned yesterday, there's some stories of guys performing very well in the Overwatch World Cup who go on to greater things, to contenders, to the Overwatch League. But let's go onto the floor and see what Decod had to say.
Hex, here with Decod from Team Norway. You were able to come out, get your first victory of the group stage. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling really good. It's a good thing to get a win on your first match here, so I feel really good about it.
Are you a little disappointed that you guys weren't able to pull off the 4-0 like you kind of predicted that you would?
I mean, we predicted, 4-0, but I felt like our first map was more of a warm-up for us to realize, like, okay, we have to take everyone seriously. We can't just think we're going to 4-0.
Right. Now, last year when you guys were coming into the World Cup, you were all a little bit fresh, but since then, you've been playing in contenders, last night leftovers. Do you feel like with you having that experience, you've been able to contribute to your team's overall game sense?
With the coaching staff we had at LNL, it was such a big improvement for our mentality going into the game. I can't thank the staff at LNL enough for the help they gave us.
All right. Now, last question for you, man. The last time you and I spoke on camera, you were, boasting about how luscious and great that your beard was. Do you still feel like you have the best beard in Overwatch? Is it safe to say that?
I would say it's safe to say that, yeah.
All right. You heard it from Decod. He has the best beard in Overwatch. Yo, Fraggy, Zebasai, if this man gets in the league, you're going to have a run for your money. But anyways, thank you very much, Decod. Everybody give him a hand. And with that, we're going to go ahead and break down that Norway victory with the casters. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Malik. Yes, so Norway, they found success.
It was kind of funny to hear him say, like, well, I guess after the first warm-up game, we have to decide to take everyone seriously. And they were talking about how, like, USA and Canada's not going to take them seriously. They're going to use their hubris against them. And I guess hubris, that double-edged sword right there.
I like that. They might have that opinion, right? Where it's just like, oh, they just think it's a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Or an American thing. not saying that Americans are stupid. Yeah, shout out. All right, so if you get that reference, I love you, and we'll get along great. All right, so now, what are we going to go into next?
Wait, next match? Or
yeah, next match. What's up?
I just put down my schedule.
You did actually put down the schedule.
We were just looking at it. I don't have a memory.
Yeah, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the T-Mobile Fan Pulse. It's brought to you by the fastest network in America ever. So, track is dominating. Good things. Good things. That's what we saw.
Yeah, it's about as easy as it gets. But it's so important as Norway goes forward that he continues to play that well. As I mentioned, you need 2 DPS to be able to play in any sort of league, because if one person is locking down a team, you just send resources at him, but someone else has to step